go. All right, guys.
Fantastic.
Game number 1, the Viper versus the Gouw. It's the round of 8 of the Killer B Arabia Cup. I'm Killer B, and I'm joined by Mr. Willis himself. Thanks for joining me, man.
You're very welcome. Definitely excited for the next 2 hours or so here.
Yeah, man. We've got a best of 5 here between Viper and dogao, and we don't know the result of this just yet. We do have a couple of potentially fake wrecks, so we should be nicely blinded as to the result. But one thing I would expect, Willis, I would expect a restart here from the Viper, wouldn't you? Vietnamese versus Magyars.
I hope to see it. Let's see if I can think of anything. Oh, also, I don't know any of these outcomes, so that's going to be helpful. Let's see. If anything, I've seen Viper's playstyle, though. He'd be a player that would skip the possibility if having it.
Yeah, I showed in the intro that the Viper's worst civ in the last 100 games is Vietnamese. He has a 20% win rate. It's also a terrible 1v1 civ. Versus the Magyars could be tough. But let me just remind people, since it's game 1 of a new set, the rules of this tournament are best of 5, single elimination, all games on Arabia, all games random civ. But if you restart a game, you actually get a new civ. So a restart, in this case, is a very powerful tool to get you out of a situation of having to play the Vietnamese. There's one more wrinkle. You can veto 1 restart per set. So if the Viper here as Vietnamese says, I want to his opponent, dogao, can actually say, no, I'm going to make you play this game once. He can veto 1 time. So we'll see if that happens. But Willis, I'm going to quickly look around the map. Do you want to introduce dogao's map to people?
Absolutely. Been looking at dogau's map, and as far as his golden woodline on the left looks pretty good. Berries are going to be absolutely functional, but it's a little unfortunate that they're in the trees there. He's done a pretty good job with sheep scouting. Oh, sorry, I'm on Viper's perspective. That didn't make sense for a second there. There we go. As far as it, he's found his 2 golds on the hill over there, over to his north and left. A little bit of a shame that if they get raided by archers later on, that hill bonus is really going to not be good against those villagers. But other than that, he has an okay map as far as only being open from 1 angle.
Yeah, and to add to the drama here, we are not going to see a re or a veto in this game, but we are going to see dogao stealing the Viper's boar. We're also going to see dogao finding one of his own sheep that the Viper tried to steal, but Viper did steal another sheep. So 1 sheep in hand for the Viper and maybe a stolen boar from dogao. We'll see if he can micro it in right.
Ooh, I'll actually jump in on that sheep. That's actually was originally Viper's that dogao stole at about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we got you on here, Willis. You got the eyes, man. Thanks for that. Yeah, so absolutely, the Viper is hurting on a couple resources here, but oh, dogao loses the attention of the boar just at the wrong moment. And can he get his villager out to get that boar before it goes back?
Let's see. Just a quick time check. I'm at 5:23. Yourself?
Yep, I'm about 5 seconds behind you. So if you want to pause for a couple seconds, it should be perfect. Dogao will lure that boar for the moment. He is on the way to getting Loom, and the Viper is a little too far away, I think, to kill this villager. However, Loom completes now, just 9 HP on the Vill. The Viper is going to have to dive out, and dogao should get the boar. Oh, he almost...
a little almost too close for comfort there.
Yeah, the Viper.
dogao sending that weak villager to berries. I think that's a misclick. Oh, he's bringing her back. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. The Viper did steal back his own sheep there, but no re from the Viper. No attempt to restart, even though he has Vietnamese and he has a rough situation. The Viper does have about an extra villager over dogao. That's due to the Viper not having Loom and being a little bit more TC efficient. It's about a vill and a half advantage. Our player in yellow is dropping down a barracks, and I'll just quickly tell you, he's got this back wood line, which is kind of thin, but probably defensible. Berries to the side are on some awkward hills, but ultimately it's a pretty decent map for the Viper to defend.
Absolutely. Well, what kind of strat do you think you'd be seeing him going for? He's throwing up the barracks now. Not so. I think will we see a drush into archers from the Viper?
Viper's barracks will be up at 20, so I guess he'll have the option to go for that. He could also go for some men-at-arms play, but for the moment, that barracks is queuing 3 militias, so it will be a drush, as you suggested. So maybe dogao losing about a half a villager worth of idle time during his boar steal, but he ultimately did steal the boar, which will be a nice little advantage for him. That's going to allow our player in blue to go up on 20 villagers, but he is going to go up on 20 vills with about 20 seconds of, maybe 25 seconds of idle TC. So a bit of a rocky start, some good things, some bad things for dogao. definitely a map that he can defend nicely. Who do you think has the advantage here, Willis? I mean, Gouw is the Magyars as the underdog, or the Viper, who is a beast of a player, as a very weak Civ?
I've got to give it to Gouw right now because I believe he took in 3 boars and going up early. It all depends what he's about to do with it. Oh, he just lost his scout. Ooh, that's so unfortunate. I think overall, money's usually on Viper, but at the moment, the Gouw's doing a good job at making sure people think otherwise.
Yeah, one of the nice things about having Gouw in this tournament is that, of course, he's played a lot of games with the Viper and a lot of games in general. I don't think he's going to be nervous and peeing all over his shoes here, so we'll see him get this game on track as he gets closer to the Feudal Age. Quick walling coming in from the blue player. He's trying to defend against some men-at-arms, or rather some militia that are coming forward, and he's trying to get his barracks down at home.
That quick wall is just not going to work for him at the moment. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, not quite able to get it done. The barracks is about 60% of the way done, but he does need a wall of Vil in there, and oh, that Vil is not participating. So the barracks for Gouw is going to not be up. He sneaks a villager around the top side, but it's risky, isn't it, Willis?
It is. I'm paused for you at the moment. I believe he's going to try to quick wall Jill the Vil in up there, and I think he'll end up bringing it back.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm at 1050 right now. Thanks for bearing with me on the technical side of things.
Don't worry about it.
Gouw is walling himself into a small space. He should eventually be able to clean the Viper, but he does need to maybe wall his woodline a bit, or at least congregate some Vils. Gouw's play is still not obvious to us, but a stable will come down on the left side, and that makes a lot of sense. So the Viper with an old-fashioned drush, Willis, and now he's walling in behind. This is not really that common to see the Viper drushing and then walling up. He's playing this pretty serious, I would say.
Absolutely. Oh, wow, and he even ended up scouting all the way to the left there to see that last opening. And he's going to have it walled. Actually, there might be one tile all the way to the left past that cliff that ruins it for him. But Gouw, while he knows this drush is here, he's not 100% protecting himself against it. These might be men-at-arms in no time and do a lot more damage than they ever should have.
Yeah, for those people watching, they would be glad to know, or they'd be interested to know, that these are all full HP militia. I don't know how the Viper has pulled that off, because he keeps poking in, but Gouw has yet to do any damage to those militia, and of course, as you said, they could soon be men-at-arms.
At this play, would you think with the 5 or 6 villagers there, I think I would batter down the militia before they can become anything worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that we will see Gouw once the Viper's upgrade comes in. Ooh, Gouw has a Vil maybe pinched there. No, he's going to be fine getting home, but this villager is also in some hot water. Yeah, Gouw's got to bring all of his Vils on that side together and 2 or 3 scouts and just force the Viper to stand and fight. Viper is not clicking men-at-arms. One of those militia is pretty weak, so he's not even going to bother clicking the upgrade.
Wow.
Extremely effective drush, though, right? I mean, he got himself fully walled.
The amount of time they simply hung out, the damage. I'm not sure if they picked a Vil, or at the end they did, but earlier I don't think they did. But they definitely forced Gouw's hand into doing everything other than what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's the old-fashioned drush play that you're looking for. Maybe a few years back, that was an extremely common thing to see. You'd see a drush, and you're just trying to slow down that barracks coming up. You're trying to idle a bunch of Vils. You're probably not going to pick a villager, but you're just staying super annoying. And behind that, full walls for the Viper, double ranges, and you should have a really strong archer production that Gouw is going to have to try to handle. For now, Gouw does not have a range down, but I think we'll see a range soon, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. I see a range and a second range going up. Or I see a range complete and a second range almost up.
Oh, you mean for... I mean for Gouw, though. I think Gouw will...
Oh, for Gouw. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he'll need one
yes,
in defense.
Absolutely. He needs some sort of skirms at all. Oh, he's got a tower going up on his gold. That's a way to look at it. Definitely will keep archers off, but I believe he would need to collect stone and get a second tower up. Otherwise, the Viper would just sit under that tower.
Yeah, maybe Gouw is going to think about 2 towers on that side. That could be a nice way to defend that area. For now, it's been 3 scouts for Gouw. The Viper still does not have a single unit out, but the Viper has clicked up to the Castle Age. So we'll see the yellow player getting a nice tech advantage, an untouched economy, and Gouw is maybe going to have to go home here in a few minutes and run away from those crossbows.
Yes, absolutely. I see Gao's doing his best to scout most of the map, but I believe he doesn't quite know that Viper's full walled. He hasn't seen it, but I believe he's operating as if he's assuming it at the moment. And he seems to be scouting everything else but the Viper. Do you see that? Him going all the way clear around the left side of the map?
Yeah, that is interesting that dogao he's getting full map coverage, I guess you could say. Trying to get the 100%.
It's almost like he's more nervous that Viper is somewhere else other than at home.
Maybe this is, it's hard to say. We're obviously speculating because we don't know in dogao's head, but maybe he's trying to get a bunch of map reveal to make his score look a little scarier or something, but who knows. For now, dogao will click up in just a moment. He'll be a little behind the Viper, but I don't think he's in a critically bad situation. I don't think these crossbows will necessarily dice him up before he gets to the Castle Age himself, but I suppose we'll see. So, Willis, are you surprised that the Viper played through this Vietnamese game? I really thought that anytime I saw Vietnamese, I would see at least a player ask for a re. What do you think?
I would love to be surprised, but as soon as we thought about it, the first thing that came to mind is, I believe, Nations Cup 2 years ago when it was an islands game, and his entire island was rangeable by water, and the entire team or every caster was saying, "Okay, Viper calls the re. He has to. His island's too bad to play," and the re was not called. They ended up playing that game, and they lost. They lost exactly for that reason. So, if there's anybody I can see just trying to play through it and do their best, it would have been the Viper.
Well, the Viper is going to play this one out. One thing that you could try to do in this situation is you could call that re, knowing full well that your opponent might use their veto. And at least in that case, you get them to waste their veto. But hey, Viper wants to play it as it lies, and he does have a full walled position, and he's got a great opportunity to try to win this game. Magyar's player is on the way up to Castle Age. We do see double stables. Gouw has an awkward position with his tower here, but he did wall in around that tower so that the Viper can't dive in under it. So a really nice bit of walling there from Gouw.
Absolutely. It definitely played exactly against what I was saying about Viper sitting underneath it and just making it basically useless. He made sure to counter that possibility 100%.
Yeah, now the Viper has some map control. He's flipped the script. Gouw will go for chain barding armor. He will go for double stable knights, and he will forego for the moment adding another TC because he's short on stone. Viper on the other side of things has just one town center for now and does seem to be committed to one TC aggression for a little bit longer.
I see Viper dropping a second TC at 21:45 about.
Okay, I think you're 30 seconds ahead of me, but
okay, I'll slow down.
That's perfect. I'll let you know when I hit 21:45, and then we can synchronize watches. Guys, this is a good time to say 21:45 in 3, 2, 1, go. This is a good time to say thanks to Willis for being here, and you can find his information in the channel if somebody types in !casters, and I highly encourage you to jump onto his Twitch channel now. You're casting these games as well, right? You're streaming
Yes,
these?
I'm also casting. Yes.
Great.
Or yeah, also streaming is the right way to say that. Yep.
So guys, feel free to open that up and give some love to Willis. There's plenty of love to go around, and I really appreciate you coming over here today.
Oh, it's a blast. I appreciate you having me. This is what I'm here for. Exactly this, having fun with everybody, and everybody's included kind of thing.
Yeah, man. We have a great community here in Age of Empires, and it's good to have you along with us creating good content. We've got this game still rolling, guys. It is 40 Vils apiece. I think it was one TC for the most part so far, but we did see the Viper just now adding in a second one. Viper has gone into crossbowmen. Those are Vietnamese crossbows, 41 HP, +2/+1 for the Viper for now. His opponent, Gouw, has +2/+2 knights with bloodlines and mangonels. So Gouw looks to be on 1 TC, and he looks to be happy to stay on 1 TC for a little while longer to try to take a little bit of map control from the Viper. But it's going to be tricky, Willis.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the Viper full walled. But let's see what can happen with the mangonel. That mangonel can make all the difference. Either it is a game changer, or it doesn't do anything, and then the Gouw has to change everything he's thinking.
Yeah, we will have to see if these mangonels rolling forward can change the game for Gouw. For now, the Viper defending nicely, microing away, killing a couple of knights. and pretty happy back at home is the Viper. On Dagoa's side, he definitely needs to expand his sphere of influence. If he's ever going to lose map control here, he does need to have some sort of a base established behind it. But for now, he's all in to take map control. A couple mangonel shots are rolling in for Gouw. A couple of those will hit home. Oh, the Viper's a little AFK on these crossbows. He's taking a ton of damage.
Absolutely. Definitely not what I would expect to see. Not what I would expect to see from him at all.
Yeah, the Viper taking a bunch of mangonel shots to the dome, and all of a sudden, his crossbowman number is down to, I don't know, 8? Really, really rough micro there from the Viper. Gouw, though, will need to continue the pressure. Maybe he can push on the Viper's ranges next. Blue player is on the 1TC, as we said a few times, and the Viper is on 2 for now. Viper transitioning over to stone. Maybe we'll see a castle to try to defend against this attack. So the clock is ticking for Gouw.
Absolutely, that would definitely, well, if Gouw has anything, he has to push his advantage now, and I think with these amount of knights and the mangonels here, he could push through that palisade wall and get into the base. Now would be the time.
Yeah, now is definitely the time. The Viper's got a small army out. Gouw is going back to chase that, which is going to be a relatively easy cleanup for him. Meanwhile, on the front, Gouw is pressuring the Viper's gold. Viper does have extra gold inside of his walls that he can go back to. And the Viper will have some elephants here to go along with this.
Oh, wow. There we go. That will be the, I don't want to call it the counter to the Knights, but it'll definitely be a meat shield that makes a humongous difference.
Yeah, definitely a worthwhile investment to maybe kill a mangonel and just slow this push down ever so slightly. The Viper is on 200 stone and might think about a castle soon. Gouw has a new TC down to expand his wood economy, so we will see Gouw's Vil number stay pretty close to the Viper's here.
Yes, those archers did get cleaned up. I believe Gouw ended up having 5 knights chased. 2 are coming back to the front. I'd say with a few good mangonel shots, those elephants might be able to come down, but I think Viper's going to come out on top of this engagement. Oh, I may be completely wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. Right now I'm at 28:45. Hopefully we're still close to synchronized.
No, I need to do some catching up.
Oh, no worries. We've got elephants chasing down mangonels, so it's a slow grind out process for the Viper, who's... The Viper's just staying alive. He's buying time.
Staying alive, staying alive. I can't play Staying Alive anymore now that we're not having doubt.
I just did. I couldn't resist. Third TC from the Viper on the right side. He does have a tower on his front gold, so he's not going to castle his way out of this situation yet, but he is powering down more stone with about 15 villagers on the right side, or on the left side of his base. So the Viper will defend with some towers, but I think we will ultimately see a castle and probably some rats to go along with this, but I suppose time will tell.
Yes, that's what I would expect to see. The Rattan archers. What would you see different out of them in this situation? Obviously, I mean, if they're a slightly stronger unit, but I believe most of their bonuses aren't going to come into play.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I'm just thinking that castle position would give you the ability to go into some rats and take a little possession. But yeah, it's a very good point. The Viper is on 0 military right now, so if he wants to transition his military, it won't be hard. The next unit that he builds is technically a transition, but right now it's a guard tower defense for him.
Okay.
People in the chat are getting annoyed at the Viper is such a waller. I'm pretty happy to see the Viper playing this. I think he's playing this pretty seriously. It seems like he's not going to take too many risks here. Walling up, guard towering up, and booming up. 77 Vils for the Viper. What do you foresee Gouw being able to break this? He's got a few rams coming over and some knights. Do you think there's time?
This is very reminiscent to me of watching a lot of MBL as he was coming up. I believe if Gouw pushed it right now, Viper wouldn't have much answer, but he seems a little hesitant to, let's say, break through that house with only 54 HP.
Mm-hmm.
And if he were to break through and run under there and start hitting villagers, there wouldn't be much answer.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very weak link in the chain on the front of the base for the Viper. You could foresee him secondary walling this really quickly with some stone walls, but I think that the Rams are going to be a difficult thing for Viper to stop. He does have guard towers with 7 damage, but the Knights will be somewhat beefy against guard tower arrow fire. Knights are diving in from dogao. I'm at 32 minutes and 55 seconds, and this one's heating up.
Perfection.
All right, man. It's heating up. Right now is dogao's chance to either win or lose this game, I think.
All right, well, there's your call of Viper dropping gates to wall up back there. But if anything, well, Viper has so many, he has both his extra gold still protected. But dogao is in, at least in that section of base. If he can take down this barracks and both archery ranges, that could help. That is still wood. That is still something that helps. Every little bit of it.
Yeah, the Viper is on the way to ballistics, which is always fun to see when you don't have any military. He does have his first Rattan Archer out, and the castle is down. What do you think about the Viper's castle position here? It's conservative, right? I mean, he could have dropped that a little closer if he wanted to.
I think I agree with you. Maybe even delete that house where the Rattan Archers are queuing or going to, and drop it there, so it would be doing something against these knights, or maybe protect his farms and woodline to the right. But yes, that position definitely extremely conservative for him.
Yeah, the Viper is he's taking his time. He's playing defensively. He's on the way to Imp. He does still have a serious problem on the front door. The Rams continue to knock. Two archery ranges are down. Now is stable. dogao's knight number has dwindled a little, but he's still got a very nice group of knights here on the front. dogao on his side is going to be on resources close to clicking up, and he's going to add in a bunch of ranges and some cav archers.
Okay. Cav archers. How do you feel about that switch against an archer with some of the highest pierce armor in the game?
Yeah, obviously it's not great versus the rats, but I do think that dogao's going to need some diversity in the mix. So I'm not too mad about it. But what are your thoughts, Willis? What are your thoughts there?
I'd have to see what Viper, if and when Viper includes a secondary unit. With only one barracks up, well, not that dogao knows that. I don't really see many pikemen coming, so I don't see the need for the switch at the moment.
Yeah,
you're welcome. You're welcome to tell me why I'm wrong, though.
No.
Someone with more game knowledge.
No, this is why we watch the games. This is why we watch the pros to learn. Sometimes they do some things that you're like scratching your head on, and then it totally works out, and you're like, oh man. I never would have considered that. But I think cav archers here can be okay. Maybe dogao can get in some raiding. But for now, the Viper is continuing to expand his base out. He will have another castle very soon. 630 stone in the bank for Viper. dogao's coming into the middle of the map with a bunch of archery ranges and a bunch of siege workshops. And those siege workshops for now don't have anything in them. But maybe we're going to see some more rams from the blue player soon.
Absolutely. Viper up to Imp, about halfway to Bracer. dogao just clicking Imp. Does dogao go back and hold for the moment, or does he keep pushing what pressure he has? Looks like he's gonna go back to his middle base there. Yeah. But let the Rams keep battering down that tower, because there's nothing to stop them at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we've lost synchrony a bit. I'm at 38.05 right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
So let me pause a second, and when you get to 38.10, let me know.
Okay.
I'll just tell people real quick that relics are being grabbed by dogao. dogao has had some nice map control, so he's been around the map with his monks grabbing some relics. Interesting. One monk is a different style than the other. Did we have a monk converted, maybe?
I'm caught up, just so you know.
Okay, let's unpause then.
Viper dropping a castle right at dogao's most forward TC.
All right.
Does dogao see this?
Let's.
I believe he has to.
Are you on pause now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then I'll unpause as well. And what time are you at?
38:39. I've paused, so
perfect.
Let me know when you're there.
Let's unpause on your side in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Yeah, I'm seeing that castle coming down as well. And dogao, for the moment, does have 27 military, but he is not rushing in to deny it. So that could go up.
Oh, that's unfortunate that he doesn't know he has the advantage here.
Yeah, dogao can definitely push that position a bit, but does look like it's going to go up from the Viper, and dogao will have one of his front golds denied for now. Rattan Archers microing away from this for the moment for the Viper. Those are pretty beefy already. We did see pikemen and scale barding armor coming. So we have an idea about the late game unit confirmation. It's going to be a couple of elite skirms, a couple of cav archers, and a few knights for the blue player. The Viper is going to add in a couple of pikes to go along with his rats, and some siege to go along with it. Willis, if you had to give it an advantage for one player or the other right now, who do you think is ahead in this one?
I'd have to, let me see, Vil count. I'm giving it to Viper at the moment just for the push, and I believe he's a little bit more in Gao's head than Gouw realizes.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, Viper did drop that castle down, will deny Gouw that extra gold. Gouw in the north, or rather in the west of his base. Boy, I'm having trouble with directions. We'll get a castle down
Don't worry about it.
to defend those golds at home. So Gouw does end up losing map control. Yeah?
Will that castle go down, though?
Ooh, good point. Only 30% of the way up as the rats roll in, and they do start to snipe all of those vills. So
that's a shame.
A tough moment for our underdog Gouw. He kind of needed that castle to go up to protect his golds.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to lose a little bit more. Oh, man. Do you know the MBL mod for...
Yeah.
I left it on and just heard it for the first time of the day.
Nothing wakes you up in the...
What's that?
We should sell an alarm clock to wake people up in the morning. MBL's
It always
Voodoo.
throws me off every now and again because I don't hear it often enough. Okay, it looks like the Gouw, now that he's seen Viper's main force, he went and pushed him away from that castle. 42:05 as a time check.
Yep, perfect. We're on the same spot. That castle is going to start going up for Gouw. It's 50% of the way done. The Viper's getting out of dodge with the rats. Rats for now are going to be fairly upgraded, but not elite. We will see chemistry coming for the Viper now, and we will see the halberdier upgrade coming for Viper as well. Gouw is going cavalier. He's maybe looking to dive in now, and we'll see if he can actually get in behind this group of rat and archers.
Well, that'd be great. That'd be a huge hit to the Viper's military.
Yeah, Gouw has to make some hay while the sun is shining because Halbs will soon be out on the map and it will be a little bit harder for him to find this army. Gouw's mobility versus the Viper's maybe ability to mass and grind him down is going to be the story of the end of this match. As the Imperial Age comes closer, Willis, who would you rather have for a Civ? Are you more on the boat of having Magyars and Imp or having Vietnamese and Imp?
Oh, we'll go with a new guest here. I'm going with Magyars.
Okay. Well, me too, but you know, everybody has their playstyle preferences. Okay. We'll see. The Cav Archer.
How do you feel about even though the Halberdiers are going to counter the Knights because the Gouw is going both Cavalry Archers and Elite Skirmishers? That'll do pretty good against Halbs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both players are going to have a really well-rounded army, and it's going to come down to management, I think, here as to who can break the gridlock. I think the skirms, as you said, and the Cav Archers will do nice against the Halbs, but they need to kind of isolate them from the rats. Viper is ready to push the action, though, Willis. He's going to come right into Gouw's base and give it a go.
He says, I'm ready to fight. It's time. And he's going in with it. So I wonder here, though, with a big enough mass of skirms, is that enough to keep Viper at bay?
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, for now, Gouw actually has a couple of trebs that are out in the open, which the Viper will peel back and go after. Viper will leave his Halbs to die for the moment, so we can grab a treb or two, I suppose. Viper's adding in bombard cannons, and he's going to have bombard cannons to go along with the elite rat and archer upgrade, which is now done. I think skirms are enough to deter the Viper from pushing on certain positions, but I'd rather have the cannons in this situation than the trebs. So I don't know. This game continues to become more interesting.
It definitely has evolved more times over and over than I would have ever guessed. That's always a good first match, isn't it? Or first game.
Absolutely. More bear.
So I wonder if the Gouw is sneaking around. Well, I don't even want to know if we should call it sneaking, but he's thinking, you know, Viper's probably still pretty open, and he's going to go find out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the point in the game where, okay, I have a bunch of mobility, I have a very expensive unit, I can't really find a great engagement because my opponent is starting to spam Halbs. You can get those Cavalier in, and Gouw is going to try to send those into the Viper's eco. He will kill a ram first and a couple buildings first. I wish Gouw would have dove a little deeper in. Viper might be able to wall this.
Might have patrolled them in, unfortunately. Oh, that's a shame if he did, because they stopped at that siege workshop and barracks.
Yeah, those Cavalier might, and it is a speculation, but they might have been able to get into the juicy part of this eco and really cause some havoc. But now they're getting out. They're running away from more Halbs, and the Viper is starting to take over a little bit more map control.
A small note here. In a moment, Viper will be done with all of his original golds.
Oh, okay.
Completely mined them up. But he does have that castle on that one neutral gold, so that'll help if he transitions to it.
Yeah, and dogao also is doing something interesting. He's going Paladin. Paladin upgrade in this case is how dogao is planning to bludgeon down and take over this game. We'll see. Paladin and Elite Skirms could take this over.
Absolutely.
dogao will also grab Mercenaries as the Paladin upgrade finishes. He's going to take an engagement with the Viper. Viper will get some good damage in with Halbs, and dogao is ultimately the one who's going to have to go back. That Paladin number is not huge yet, and the Viper will, I guess, expect further Paladin raiding as the game goes on. Cav Archers on the left of the map just hanging out for dogao. He should get those into action sometime soon. But it is the Viper who is still slowly kind of building up a military in the middle.
Oh, he absolutely is. I believe that's going to be a big deal, just slowly pushing with it. Ooh, and Imperial Skirmishers. How much, while they will beat any skirmishers dogao has to send, how necessary do you see that spending?
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, Imperial Skirms versus an army that has a lot of Paladins is going to be interesting. The Viper, of course, is not going to be able to do too much versus the group of Palas, but Imperial Skirms nonetheless. More stables coming for the Viper, starting to get his army fleshed out with a bunch of rats, a bunch of Halbs, some cannons at the bottom of the hill. He's waiting for a little honeypot fight. He's saying, dogao, come and get me with those Paladins. I want to see what you got. And here comes dogao, Willis. Take it, man. Take it away.
I think he's going to get in there, but he might end up throwing away too many Paladins in order to take out those bombard cannons. If he goes in, actually, I don't see him going in. Can I get a time check from you?
I'm at 50 minutes, 50 seconds.
Okay, yeah, we're that close. But with that castle just getting hit down with the bombards, dogao can't just repair it indefinitely.
Yeah.
Time to make a decision on what it is he'll be doing.
Yeah, and the Viper's getting some great bombard shots on the big group of skirmishers there from dogao.
Oh, yes.
Really,
that's unfortunate.
Really thinning that army number down. Viper is pushing out a little bit on the other side, taking dogao's relics out of his monastery, which could be important as the game gets later. It's 3 relics for the Viper. dogao did have a couple, but he just lost the monastery to hold them. Viper's going to maybe dive in now, or rather dogao's going to dive in now. Maybe. There's still a lot of flirtation going on. He's got to deal with these cannons, though.
Magyars, could he have went Mangonel or Onager to maybe help a little bit? No, it would have just been outranged. Viper could have microed that down. I think we're gonna see a decisive fight here. Will the Halbs be pushing in harder on the left first, or will the Paladins come from the right better? Yeah. I'm giving advantage Paladins at the moment. Yeah. Very nice clean because the Viper sat under that castle for too long with his halberdiers.
Yeah, dogao keeps up that pivotal castle, and he takes a lot of Viper's units down. Elite Battle Elephant is in for our player in yellow, and the Snake is kind of on the back foot again. He's got 22 military against a guy who's got 60, and many of those 60 units are a very nicely upgraded unit, the Paladin. So dogao's got another opportunity here. He's going to keep bludgeoning down the front of the Viper's base, and we've got our #1 seed in a little bit of hot water. He's at least a little challenged here.
Absolutely. Somebody noticing, dogao has 1,300 stone in the bank. He could have repaired that for as long as he wanted.
dogao,
even after all that.
He's saving for a rainy day with all that stone. So many Paladin, though, still on the map, and he's doing a nice job. dogao's picking off the Halbs as soon as they come out of the barracks, so the Viper doesn't get a chance to mass up the unit that he needs to try to slow these Paladins down. So this is trouble. This is trouble, Willis.
Absolutely is. So, Viper, with taking out, he'll be moving towards 5 relics. You see that making a very large difference, given the right timing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you see the next castle for dogao? I definitely see the need for it, but I'm not sure if there's one specific spot that I think there's where you drop it.
Well, Gouw had a couple trebs working on the Viper's castle in the middle of the map. There's one nice gold pile right there that both players would love to have. So you'd like to see that castle somewhere near that pile, but maybe Gouw's feeling it out a little bit and waiting to see what he can get away with. If you put it too close, you might lose it to bombard cannons. So I think he's waiting, but yeah, he's had a lot of stone in the bank. He should have another castle or even two up already at this point in the game. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know why he's waiting so long on the castle drop.
Okay.
I don't know. Still 63 military for Gouw. Still definitely a game that he has in a nice place. The Viper with a little bit of a score lead, maybe because of kill death. The Viper does have 4 relics. Gouw has the bigger army, and Gouw has control of the right side of the map pretty nicely. The Viper has control of the middle. Anybody's game to win here.
Yes, and they're both actually, I was going to call out Gouw for idling a lot more than Viper, but it just switched. It was about 30 idles for Gouw and only 10 for Viper, and then they both went up to 30 right before I said that, and then they both fixed it. But for the while, you can see Gouw was mining gold on the right, as well as villagers that are now just dropping barracks and lumber camp. They were standing around for about 2 or 3 minutes, probably, I believe.
It's a weird position. Gouw does have a lot of resources. He's just done a good job to spend some of those. He's going to go for Elite Magyar Hussar here. What do you think about that dedication? He's going to go for it. It is late game. It is a cheap unit, so it makes some sense, right?
Well, now that we've seen Viper tech switch into Imperial skirmishers, it'll be helpful. But the fact that Viper's already ready for Hal, that makes it questionable, because Viper's already prepared to completely stop that spam. But they will be stronger than regular Hussars, which I believe will help.
Yeah, Gouw is just going to keep building up. He's got a lot of resource in the bank still to work with, ready for another castle whenever he wants it. The Viper does have a bit of food and gold to work with as well. Both guys are kind of digging in their heels for the late game. As we approach the 1 hour mark, a couple Paladin work their way into the back of the Viper's economy, but probably not a game-changing bit of rating from those couple units. So we've got what's going to turn into a very closed match here, and we've got Magyars versus Vietnamese in the late game. And the Viper here, this is kind of why I designed this tournament this way. I wanted to see the very top pros show me how to win with Vietnamese, because boy, I can never seem to pull it off. And maybe we'll see the Viper do it here.
Oh, you're playing right into my usual chat. My usual co-caster says bad things about the Vietnamese all the time. As far as playing them, I should clarify.
It's just a tough civ for me to approach, but I'm a noob, and we've got some pros here going at it. We will see the Elite Magyar Hussar upgrade in. We've got a couple of those units on the map, a lot of skirmishers to go along with it for Gouw. Gouw's still got a bunch of production on the hill, but here comes the Viper with a bunch of Elite Battle Elephants and a pretty good group of capped ram.
I'm saying, Gouw did get ready with Halbs, but with that many Rathan archers and elite skirmishers behind it, they could pick off the Halbs if they want to.
Yeah, the Rats are doing a decent job picking off some of the Halbs. The Halbs have done nice to engage the elephants in the middle. Viper's Rams have killed a couple of buildings, but I think ultimately they have to go back on that side. The Viper has finished mining the central gold, and there might not be any gold left for either player. Let's see. Viper with 0 gold miners, Gouw with 0 gold miners. So we are officially at the end of the rope for gold, and it is the Viper with 5 relics.
Well, I believe maybe the Magyar Hussar text came in at the exact right time then, knowing that the gold's about to run dry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great unit as the game rolls on. The Imperial Skirmisher will also be a really nice unit as we get into trashier and trashier states. But for now, Gouw holds the hill. He'll drop a fresh castle on top of that hill to try to hold it. Elephants are rolling forward. They are getting pretty good engagements because it's mostly skirms here. Gouw's trying to finish this castle desperately before the elephants climb the hill. But those elephants are like the Terminator right now. They can't be stopped.
I have to agree with you there.
They can't be stopped.
Yeah, all those halves are cleaned up. There's just not much to do. Definitely just need more halves in there. I see halves coming in. Then you know that I'm at an hour 130.
Okay.
But yeah, they're gonna make the biggest difference because they're so beefy at this stage. 370 HP and 18 attack. Just makes it so hard to stop them.
Yeah, and I'm 30 seconds ahead of you at this point, so if you want to speed up a bit. But yeah, key engagement on the hill. dogau's castle gets denied for a moment. The Viper continues to send elephants toward this hill. If we look at dogau's resources, 388 gold in the bank, and that number won't change unless he uses the market. The Viper is still spending his gold really quickly, but he does have the 5 relics, as we said. Both guys will have 3 castles probably soon. dogao trying to finish up his castle in the middle of the map. But it's still anybody's game to win at this point. The Viper with a much bigger military is starting to look like he might overwhelm this hill, but dogao still holds this critical hill in the middle.
Absolutely. With this other, the castle's getting trebbed down as we speak. I see another treb and battle ramps coming. I think at the moment, if production's kept up, dogao holds the hill. He's also got more barracks coming up. Ooh, but just as I say that, Viper's sending light cav around to raid.
Yeah, the Viper does have a few light cav and even one cheeky elephant in the back of dogau's eco.
Oh, really?
Because why not?
I see 3. Oh, wait, I'm just a little bit behind. Okay.
Yeah, so for the moment,
that's unfortunate.
For the moment, the Viper will go back a bit and he'll let his trebs do the work from distance. dogao is repairing like a madman on top of the hill. He does have enough stone to keep his castle alive for a while, but he's starting to have more and more problems on the peripheries of his economy. Losing villagers, he's now actually dogao down below 96 vills.
There's one thing that Viper seems to... In a lot of Viper play, you see... When he comes out, it's just because he had a 20-30 vill advantage and just kept them working. And slowly but surely, dwindles down his opponents. And I think for the first time in the game, we are seeing Viper with a significant military numbers advantage. I'm seeing 76 versus 52.
Yeah, and the paladin that dogao had earlier on in the game they are all but gone. I don't see any of them left. Of course, they did go to good use for a while there, but there's no gold left. So it's going to be a trash war. It's going to be Imperial skirmishers and halbs, and a little bit of gold mixed in for the Viper versus probably a pure trash army from dogao. dogao continues to hold the hill. He continues to repair his castles, and the Viper is still working his way up. This is a slow grind-out game, Willis, but the Viper has taken the upper hand by a bit here, hasn't he?
He absolutely has. Do you see Viper researching man-at-arms? Do you think he's going for another switch here? Because he's also getting tracking, so I believe this is all purposeful.
Ooh, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, the best trash killer can sometimes be the militia line, so let's see if that works. dogao's diving in, though. Key moment here. dogao's sending everything he has at the Viper. Will kill the treb, but he will lose a lot of hussar in the mix. I think that was a pretty nice engagement for the Viper.
Absolutely. I'd like to see him try to pick off a bombard cannon before he loses all his hussars, but it looks like it's not going to happen.
Almost getting in on those cannons, but ultimately the 2 cannons survive and the treb is still alive, and dogao is he's still trying to take those units down. His skirmishers on top of the hill are holding, but they're not able to push out enough to stop the cannons. Viper continues to bludgeon away from distance and continues to send the odd elephant into the mix. The rat and archers are basically off the map now, and the Viper is expanding on the left side to add in more ranges and barracks and stables to add in more trash. So it's going to be a trashy end to this game, Willis. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's all trash, right?
I mean, that's one way to say it, but it's definitely enjoyable, and we'll see short but slow pushes. I'm okay with seeing a trashy end, but also Viper going for keeps. Viper just pulling every trick out of the hat here. I'd like to see it all work, but I'm not convinced that he'll have the resources to do everything.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him go keep. I don't know if he has any stone miners. The overlay would suggest that he doesn't. So the Viper has 124.
There's any stone to mine.
Yeah, so he's going keep to beef up the keeps that he has, but I don't know if there actually are any. I don't know what that's about.
I don't think there are.
Viper upgrading keep without stone and without any keeps, but maybe he'll buy a little stone here and make us understand the mysterious ways of the Viper.
Little do we know, Keep has a secret bonus that it gives Imperial skirmishers extra 2 damage that only the Viper knew about.
That sounds plausible, actually. The Viper knows some secret voodoo logic.
It does. or the hacks. Little do we know, Keep has some sort of hack tech involved.
Yeah. Yeah, more barracks and ranges and stables for the Viper on the left. Dogau's doing a pretty good job raiding there with light cav. Has knocked a couple of villagers out of the Viper's eco. 115 vils for the yellow player. But the elephant in the room, pardon the pun, is that Gouw is losing this hill and all this production. I don't think Gouw can afford to lose this hill. I think it's GG if he does.
Oh, absolutely not.
And there it is.
Let's see, then those farms would be pushed.
There is the GG. Willis, we got a really great first game of this set. We got really lucky here with Viper and Gouw. Vietnamese versus Magyars. The Snake, the man on top of the 1v1 ladder, pulls out a really impressive, slow, grind him out sort of a win. What are your final thoughts on this game? What do you think?
To be honest, I think I would have played a little more. I think I would have kept going. Something I see a lot of is more deathmatch style, but you see a lot of focus around the hills. Even though Gouw looked like he was sure to lose this hill, I don't think that means he lost the game. Well, let's see. He has wood and food in the bank, so while the hill advantage was what was keeping him in it, losing that hill, I don't really see how it affects everything else he's doing too much. But if it was the nail in the coffin as far as Viper pushing the small advantages he had tech-wise, then I can see it.
Yeah, let's pop out of here. Good summary from Willis over there, and you guys can find his channel by putting !casters in, and I would strongly urge you to open up his channel and give him a follow. This guy is he's a great caster, and I appreciate you again joining me today. This is a great first game. We got really lucky with this one.
You are absolutely welcome, Killer B. As always, I very much enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Just looking around at all of the stats, the Viper at the end did have the 5 relics. Gouw had some for a while, but that extra gold that the Viper had really put him in a nice spot to be able to grind the game down late. So 1-0 will be the score for the Viper, and we will jump out of here for just a moment, and we'll get ready for game number 2 of this set. We will get ready for game number 2. Just let me update that little scoreboard that we have. Viper earning a point. Really touch and go game, Willis. That was a really great one. Gouw had a few chances to maybe win that game. I mean, there were a few moments, right?
Absolutely. There was reminiscent of seeing players be kind of timid when they don't realize they have the advantage. There was many moments where either Knights, Cavalier, or Paladins that he could have just went in and done plenty of raiding that Viper honestly wouldn't have had an answer for. There was nothing there at the time to stop him.
Yeah, it's always hard to say in retrospect what could have been and what might have been, but I agree. There was that moment where it was like 20 Cavalier that were patrolling toward the Viper's base. They were killing some Rams in a siege workshop, but ultimately diving those units in might have given Gouw enough momentum. But we'll never know. The Viper, the Snake, holds on. He stays alive after all.
And I believe at the beginning of the game, I believe you said, we're here watching pros to see how they can not use their veto and make something like the Vietnamese work. And time to eat our shoes. Viper won.
Yeah, man. The Viper winning with Vietnamese and giving us a little bit of a lesson on how to get it done. If you're ready, Willis, since that was a long game and maybe we don't want to fall too far behind, I am ready for game number 2 when you are. Just tell me the word.
All right. I am in and paused.
Okay.
Oh, actually, before we unpause, what speed are you running at? Do you run at 50, 75?
Let me... Oops. Oh, interesting. I misnamed the lobby. Thanks, guys, for the heads up. Viper versus Gouw is the play. I've been running on the base speed, which should be 50, but one of the issues with different game rooms and different computers, I think you do fall out of sync with different CPUs. But
absolutely. Definitely, that is one of the hardest things to manage.
Yeah, man. But
it seemed like I'll say my 50 was your 66.
Okay.
No, that's not an option. Well, I guess we'll just do our best with it, and maybe we'll just be pointing about the time checks or sneakily saying things we see.
Yeah, man, this is like an old school cast. I mean, I haven't been doing this forever, but a long time ago, when I first started out, we had so many troubles keeping games in sync, and this is exactly what we had to do. Let me just say a couple of thank yous, if you don't mind, Willis, and then we'll launch into the game. I want to say thanks to Kraka. Kraka just donated $50. Holy cow. Split this among the prize pool, and as you see fit, keep up the good work. Thanks so much. And we got Inoki, maybe, with a sub just a moment ago. Esto Burrito with a prime sub, very much appreciated. And Nudent subbing with tier 1. Blom had a donation as well. We've got a bunch of new followers. The most recent is Kong Forever. Thanks everybody, and I hope you don't mind that we're not playing the sub sounds in chat, or rather in the games, because we don't want to step on kind of the drama. So after all that is said, Willis, I'm ready when you are, buddy.
Alrighty, give us the countdown. Thank you to you, and thank you for all the people who came and followed from KillerB's channel, and ready for that countdown.
All right, man. We are ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, guys. Game number 2 in the round of 8 of the KillerB Arabia Cup. It is the Viper and dogao. Viper grabbed a win in game 1. I am here with Willis. Thank you for joining me again, my friend.
You're very welcome. Happy to be here with KillerB, casting the second game here.
Yeah, man.
Happy to see this.
And people who are just joining will benefit to know that this is a random Civ Arabia tournament, single elimination, best of 5. And in this case, if a player calls a re, they not only get a new map, they will get a new Civ. Willis, just looking briefly at the maps here, do you think that there's a Civ in balance that you would use a re in this situation, or would you play through for both players?
Let me try to make a fool of myself. I think I'm happy with Chinese. I'm not happy with Saracens. I think I'd use my re.
Okay. Yeah, I think if the Viper wanted to, just to clarify the rules, he could ask for a re. And if dogao says okay, then both players will get a new Civ and a new map. And for those of you guys just joining, you'll be happy to know that it's even more complicated. If the Viper asks for a re, dogao once per set can deny him that re. Dogao can say, I really like my Civ, I really like my map, and I veto. But enough about the rules. Let's enjoy the game. We're 2 minutes 20 in. 4 minutes is the cutoff for a re. We'll see if that happens. I'll introduce the Viper, Willis, and I'll throw it to you to talk about dogao. Is that okay?
That's absolutely okay.
All right, wonderful. So we've got the Viper playing in the yellow trunks. That's kind of his patented color. He's got a berry patch behind his TC. Both of his golds, all 3 of his golds, are off a little bit to the front of his town center. Maybe not super exposed, but a little bit away from the TC, and pretty hard to defend, at least by my eye. The Viper's got an awkward hill by his main stone, which is also on the front, and he's got a secondary stone kind of way out on the left side. There's some structure to work with here, but this is kind of a map that's going to be somewhat open for the Viper, who leaves 3 vills on wood in the early game and is just scouting his side. No laming going on from the Viper this game. So I'll throw it to you, Willis. What do you see on dogao's side of the map?
Dogao's side of the map, I've got to say, is an equally awful generation. I will say I was looking at Viper's first, seeing his gold and stuff, but dogao has, I'm going to say, terrible wood lines. They both have an Oasis messing them up. His main gold is, while to the technically back, it's pretty far away. It's not in a great spot. And and both of his extra golds are both very front, past the Oasis, past the one wood line. His main stone, I say, is okay, very gatherable. You can build around that. And then his secondary stone also pretty far out there. But I will say he was doing good with scouting, whereas he found all his starting resources well before that 4-minute mark. Checking up on Vipers, he was having trouble locating those last 2 sheep, but it looks like he's found them at this point. With dogao though, he's looks like he's gonna try to make it work. He's gonna live with the map.
Yeah, we've passed the 4-minute mark. Neither guy has asked for a read, so they're ready to play this one out. I agree with you that dogao's map is a little suspect. Certainly going to have a difficult time. I think he can protect that back gold with some walling, but man, the wood lines leave a lot to be desired. Does have a nice little cliff to work with, but we'll see. We'll see what the blue player can do. Dogao gave the Viper a really nice run for his money in game number 1, but we did see the Viper grab a win there. Game number 2, who knows what's going to happen? It's going to heat up here in just a moment. 17 vills for each guy. dogao has scouted a bit. The Viper is just coming forward to find dogao's base. And again, I'm joined by Willis, and you guys can find his channel by putting !casters, and I highly encourage you to give him a follow. Even if you're happy where you are right now, I really would appreciate it if you'd open up the channel of Willis and hit him up. Spread the love, man. This guy, he's got some talent, and I can't wait to see more content from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, KillerB. I will definitely be sticking around in the community. Definitely in a inclusive, happy to be here, let's all have fun kind of way.
Cool, man. Very cool. A little quick walling from the Viper. Almost got dogao to blunder his scout. A little HP from his scout into the TC, but dogao is crafty and he's on his game, so he's just fine roaming around as these guys build up. Viper added in a second lumber camp, and he's going loom on 21 Vils, and it looks to me like the Viper is going to go for some scouts here early. I may be wrong, but no barracks down for the Viper yet. The double lumber camp is up, and I think that's probably what we're going to see out of the Viper. Do you have a sense of what dogao might be up to, Willis?
Let's see. Let's see. 5 on wood, another 2 going. I see him going for an archer's build.
Okay.
Pretty much immediately. He's going to need a transition over to go. Well, actually, so I should correct myself. Skirmishers. Most likely.
Yeah, we'll see the blue player up at 802, the Viper at 802 as well. Dogao did get an extra pop. He's Chinese after all. But these guys are going to hit the feudal age at the same moment. And this game is going to continue to heat up. Okay, so the Viper's got 2 lumber camps on 1 wood line. That can be a liability. He's also got his berries really close on that side. So if dogao did go archers, he could probably harass that part of the map. If the Viper goes scouts, he's going to have some ability to maybe harass dogau's berries and wood lines, especially this wood line in the north, which is kind of away from everything else. Viper has scouted not only the northern wood line, but the southern wood line in the berries. So if it is a scout build for the Viper, he can probably get some damage in with those units. But we'll see. We will see when the time comes.
Absolutely. And that time's coming in at feudal age in just about 5 seconds here. And we'll see. But definitely we've got a barracks up for both players. dogao, let's see, dropping, I assume an archery range. Oh. dogao proving us both wrong. dogau's dropping a stable.
Yeah, dogau's going to wall himself in and drop a stable and play what I think is going to be a scout war with the Viper. Viper is also powering down a stable on his side of the map. Both guys grabbing the eco upgrades, and they're not going for this ultra-fast scout push. They're going for kind of a rounded, nice eco, constant scout, constant TC going sort of a build. Not a ballsy, crazy build, but kind of a pragmatic approach. Viper walling in the left side of his base, dogao walling in the left side of his, and we're going to see basically mirrored builds here for the most part, except that the Chinese player will have the extra villager in the early game.
Absolutely, and I think at the moment it's kind of a sit back, relax. I don't want to say mini boom, but kind of like that. Who's gonna pull off scouts better? It's like the name of the game.
Yeah, one nice thing for dogao is that he can deny the Viper to get to his gold, but the way that the Viper's economy is built, with the berries and both lumber camps so close to each other, it's really hard to envision getting in there with scouts, because scouts are great, but when you have to fight maybe 10 villagers with those scouts, you're not going to get favorable trades. So I think the Viper is somewhat immune to damage from scouts, and dogao may soon be walled. So this might turn into a game where whoever invests more actually kind of ends up shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. I don't foresee a lot of damage, but who knows?
One thing I can say we foresee is Viper having trouble gold, period. That gold is not his main gold. Is going to hurt him as far as dogao has a main gold now protected. But dogao also did wall himself off of his 2 extra golds. So we could see
ooh,
first up to castle being in trouble.
Oh, there's a hole, Willis. I'm at 1330, by the way, and dogao saying oops.
I'm right there with you. I just saw it too.
Oh, that's
dogao saying oops in the chat.
I think he can recover from this. A couple of quick palisades from dogao, and his scouts are not far behind. Even if the Viper were to bludgeon his way in, which he is actually going to get his way in, dogao may not lose anything at the end of this. But certainly good for the Viper to get inside and see what's going on and maybe look for an advantage. Dogao with 6 military, the Viper with 7. We do see scouts only from the Viper, and I think it's the same thing from dogao.
So dogao is 1 villager ahead, and I believe also first to wheelbarrow, the way I see it coming in right now. So that's going to be good news for dogao. These scouts will get cleaned simply because, you know, dogao closer to his production. So I'm surprised Viper ate that loss and didn't try running anywhere. Maybe hoping the hole was still there.
Yeah, that was a really efficient cleanup, I would say, for dogao. He killed those scouts with ease, and he does still keep his advantage. It doesn't look like he has a villager advantage, but we know because of the wheelbarrow upgrade, he will have a villager advantage after all is said and done. Wheelbarrow is in for dogao. If we look at his resources, he's on 370 or 400 food, still waiting to establish a gold economy. On the Viper side of the map, he is just now moving out to establish some gold income, and dogao is pushing out to see if he can challenge that area.
I believe that challenge is gonna be effective for the moment. Let's see, let's see, those 4 scouts, Viper's 4 scouts are on full HP. Oh, dogao's are not, so depends. Maybe a Vil pick. Oh, the scouts are gonna be out of position. Nope, Viper scouts are coming back.
I'm at 1630 right now. I'm watching the Viper try to defend with a spear. Dogao is diving in on that back wood line, and let's see if he can do it. The Viper will immediately bring 5 or 6 villagers into the fight. 1 weak Vil will go down for the Viper. Dogao will take a few pokes. So 1 scout dead for dogao and 1 villager dead for the Viper.
Okay, I think I take that. I would take that happily. Yourself?
I would be absolutely smitten to kill a single villager from the Viper. That's
well,
all.
When you put it in that aspect, after that I close game and I take a week off and just celebrate.
Alt F4, or rather just Control Alt delete your computer and just throw it away. You don't need it anymore.
Yep, I've achieved Nirvana. It's never gonna get any better than this, and call it a day.
Speaking of achievements, both players have achieved the Castle Age upgrade. They're at least starting it. dogao has shifted 8 villagers over to gold. The Viper has shifted 3, 4, 5 villagers over to the gold pile. Viper is getting gold mining, so is dogao. Makes sense. Viper's base is still small and just has a stable and a barracks. dogao on his side, I would assume, is going to add in something. He's going to add in a second stable. So it will be double stable action from dogao with scale barding armor on the way.
So I believe we're about to see knights from both players. But based on Viper not throwing up a second stable yet, do you think he has something else in mind?
I'm not sure. The Viper here can try to defend. I mean, in this situation, I guess the Viper could go for some camels, right? So if he wants to be more efficient with his resources.
Absolutely. I was definitely missing that one. That one will shut down, even though both players get in bloodlines. That will make the world of difference once we hit Castle Age here.
Maybe the Viper has to commit to playing a little defensively because of the awkwardness of his gold position. If he were to push out an army, I think he would have a lot of trouble, or he could sustain a lot of damage at home. dogao is fully walled, so dogao has whatever he wants. The world is his oyster. dogao can become super aggressive, or he can boom. It's going to be double stable knights for now, but I bet there's TCs to come along with this.
Hope so too. And dogao not on stone, but that stone is, I don't believe that's even rangeable, so we can go after it and do whatever he wants, just as you say. All right, so I have dogao up to Castle Age, dropping his first TC, just getting started right now, and Viper hitting the Castle Age right now. Okay,
I think you're a couple seconds behind me. I'm at 2050, so I'll pause at 2050. Okay. Tell me when you hit that number, and then we'll unpause.
All right, go ahead and unpause now.
Okay, perfect. I couldn't resist putting another Stayin' Alive in. That song is just it's just too good. Monastery coming down for the Viper. TC coming up on the front for him. It is 1 stable camels for Mr. Viper. He, for now, is just going to have the 2 TCs, and he's going to hold his side of the map and try to solidify his gold safety position. Camels should do the job here, Willis, but I think dogao is still leading the dance, don't you? Dogao's got so much safety at home.
Absolutely. dogao has he can set the pace. Viper has to be on the defensive right now. Even though Viper looks like he'll be going camels and monks, his choices aren't how I'm about to win. His choice right now is how I'm about to not lose and hold this map.
Yeah, the Viper is absolutely going to be having to defend. dogao has transitioned into double stable camels. That's bloodlines with +1 defense. On the Viper side, we've got bloodlines but no defense upgrade. So dogao may be able to force the Viper's hand into a little bit of a fight. But for now, both guys continue to mass up and wait for their moment to shine. Monks are on the map. We may see some siege somewhat soon. But for the moment, Dogao's roaming around. He's looking to maraud, but he has not quite gotten in.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'll give you an update. I'm at 23 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing just yourself?
Yep.
Just seeing massing and not much. Okay, cool. Looks like I found where to run in line with you.
All right, man. Yeah, this has been a bit of a challenge for us today. We're watching some recorded games. We're having a little bit of trouble with the new beta, so we appreciate everybody out there hanging tough and sticking with us. There's a couple of technical errors whenever you do something like this, streaming live on Twitch. So much appreciated to you guys for your patience. The villager count right now for Gouw should continue to increase at a bit faster of a pace than the Viper, I believe. Because, oh, no, I'm wrong. Third TC is in for the Viper. So it will stay a couple of villagers in the favor of Gouw. 3 TCs for each guy. Both players have built some cavalry and some monks, but not too much to speak of. Viper here could pick a monk, but he's actually going to just pass by it.
Absolutely. I think you're still correct in saying Gouw's going to go higher in village account faster simply because he has about 3 or 4 more farms than the Viper has now.
Okay.
Or that could be used for more camels faster.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah, and Gouw is going to take what is probably a small villager advantage, 4 vills at the moment, and he's going to take some of those advantaged vills and send them over to stone. Chinese player might be thinking about a castle and some Chukonus. Boy, wouldn't those chew up camels. But the Viper for now is not so deep into camels. I don't think he's going to get caught wrong-footed. Do you have any predictions, Willis, about how this game might shape up as we transition toward Imperial Age? Do you have any ideas about what units we might see?
Well, Gouw's a little bit invested in he's still invested into the camels.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him go to Chukanu as well. Oh, I didn't notice he was on the left stone. I was only looking at his main stone. So I was going to say, I don't see him dropping a castle anytime soon. But I'm going to have to agree right in line with you. We're going to see some Chukanus on the field, and that's gonna really, really help against any camels that the Viper's going to send.
Yeah, as far as hills go, maybe Gouw gets that castle up somewhere in the middle of the map. There's actually one spot, Willis, that looks pretty prime to me. It's right where Gouw's monastery is. There's 2 extra golds there.
Both the golds. Yep, that would be absolutely great.
That seems like a nice position, but we'll see what Gouw chooses. He's the pro after all. Yeah, Gouw's ticking up slowly toward Imperial Age type of resources, and the Viper is actually ticking up pretty slowly as well. He needs a bit more food, but both of these guys will go Imp somewhat soon, and we'll shift into the Imperial Age. Both civs quite strong in Imp, so it should be a very fun matchup. Maybe we see Chukonu and Halb for Gouw, but it's hard to say. Hard to say how this will shape up.
See Stone Mine coming in for Viper, so he's also thinking dropping a castle. I think we're going to see... Do you think we'll see Mamelukes? Or do you think it's more of a defensive castle play?
I don't know. It remains to be seen for me. I don't have any opinion about what I would do, but I do think a castle would be super nice for the Viper with those 3 golds off on the front of his base that are kind of a little bit exposed. They're still very exposed, actually. I think he needs a castle there. Gouw will castle the area that we thought that he might, and handcart's coming for both guys. So we're going to see Imp in a couple of shakes of a lamb's tail, maybe slightly sooner for Gouw.
Okay. I got it.
You like the lamb's tail, huh? You're a fan?
I do. I do. Good for laugh. Viper, now that we mention it, he has a lot of gold bank. Now that we're looking at resource, he's up to 1,500 gold. Not only the collection, but also the 3 relics to Gouw. I believe Gouw has 1 at the moment? Yes. I'm not seeing the other one on the map. Oh, Gouw's already carrying it back. Okay.
Yeah, the Viper is going all Rumpelstiltskin on us. He's hoarding all that gold for a later day, I guess. Unfortunately, Viper's not able to pick any of these monks from Gouw. It will be 2 relics for Gouw in the bank, 3 relics for the Viper. Gouw's got a castle already. The Viper's got a castle coming up. Gouw has clicked Imp. The Viper is maybe waiting to finish his castle before he can click the Imp upgrade. So there'll be a couple of moments here, Willis, where there'll be a nice tech advantage for our underdog player Gouw in the blue. Maybe he can make something happen in the early Imperial Age.
Definitely always love to see that.
Yeah.
What do we have here? We've got about a minute and a half. Oh, wait, no, we don't have... Still no click up from the Viper yet. So he's going to... Yes, he might be looking at 2 or 3 minutes total. Oh, here we go. There's the click from the Viper.
Yeah, I'm at 31, so maybe I can pause a few seconds.
Okay.
Tell
Nope,
me.
I just caught up to you.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
I'm going off of your cues. Don't worry about it.
Cool, man. That's good,
So-
right? We want to be
Yeah,
professionals. We got to have challenges.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. So a minute 10 will be dogau's advantage into Imperial Age here. And so we'll see how much we can do. That other castle, it's on a great hill. It'll definitely help with the Chukanu flood into those golds. I think, would you have put it even further forward? Or would you have been safer and kept it there because of maybe worry about trebs over that cliff?
It's hard to say. It does do a nice job to cut down 2 different pinch points on the map, but yeah, it's anybody's guess. Maybe he could have gotten a little closer to the Viper. Viper with mostly monks at the moment. We have seen monk upgrades trickling in as well for Viper. So dogao is staying a little bit far back. He doesn't want to lose all of his camels yet. Imperial Age will come in, and our player in blue, Mr. dogao, will get a couple of trebs pumping out. But your point is pretty good. I mean, dogao can't exactly camp under his castle and treb the Viper. He's got to come a little bit out in order to reach the Viper's buildings. So maybe not the greatest, but here's a new castle for you, Willis. There's a new one.
There we go.
A little closer to the action.
A little closer, a little bit more pushing it. Yeah, because that'll be in range with anything coming across that cliff. And, I don't know, we're way too many. Way too many updates ahead. Camels don't get too wrecked against castles anymore. I was thinking maybe they were playing AOC for a second there.
We will see the Imperial upgrade in for both guys. Viper is going heavy camel. dogao is going to come forward and unpack his trebs. He's going to be probably out of range of his castle being able to help the trebs. And it's an uncomfortable spot a little bit for dogao because he does need to get his camels out in front of his trebs. Things are a little bit squishy here. But his trebs are unpacked. He's trebbing down the Viper's front TC. And remember, guys, that's where all of the Viper's golds are. There's 4 gold piles on that part of the map. Absolutely pivotal for the Viper to control that part, and that's where dogao is going to go and try to twist the knife. And for now, the Viper can't stop him. Not yet. Not until Heavy Camel comes in.
Absolutely. Yes, and I wonder where dogau's focus was for a second there, as that treb just hung around. He had an extra treb just not doing anything for a moment there. But the TC's down. I don't know if I'd be targeting houses. There we go. I'd rather see the stables come down.
Yeah, we should see those stables get focused, and then the Viper will have a little more trouble. Zealotry on the way for the Viper. He's still investing a lot in these camels. Camels can overwhelm this position, but the clock is ticking. The more Chukanu there are, the less of an exciting fight that becomes, I think, for the camels of the Viper. Vills are 112 for each guy. Militaries are almost identical. Who's got the advantage here, Willis?
I have to give it to dogao. He's pushing so much harder. He's made those golds unsafe for the Viper. And with the Chukanu backing up his own camels, that's really going to hurt anything the Viper's trying to throw at him right now.
Yeah, I like dogao's position. He's pulling back the trebs. He wants to push on the Viper from a different angle. This could be an interesting point in the game because dogao was bludgeoning down the area by the Viper's gold, but now he's actually not punishing the Viper's lack of security there. He's going back. He's not going to waste any camels, but I wonder if dogao needs to get damage on those gold piles. I think knocking down the TC is not quite enough on its own. We'll see. We'll see if dogao can do it. Here comes Viper's heavy camels.
All right, KillerB's, a little technical difficulties. I'm playing off of, I'll be speaking to you, but I'm coming back in game. I just had a crash. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, man. I'll pause. I'm at 37 minutes, 20 seconds, and this will be a good time for me to say hello to everybody. And just let me know when you get to 37 minutes and 20 seconds, and then you pause the game there, and we'll wait. Is that cool?
Okay, that's absolutely cool.
Great. Guys, the voice you're hearing over there is Willis. Willis is a guy who's making content nowadays. He's got a Twitch channel. He's a good caster, and I think you can find his channel by putting !casters into the chat right now. Open it up, give him a follow, give him some love. We got to build up this community. A rising tide raises all boats, as they say. So show some love to Willis. Yeah, I think you have a great style, man. These games have been very easy. Belgium did great early, and now we've got Willis with us doing a great job. And after this, we will bring in Mr. Ornlu at 16 GMT for MBL versus Stark.
Ornlu as well. That's a very good inclusion.
Oh, we got a group of murderers today. Absolutely. I'm the luckiest guy in Age of Empires for sure. But yeah, I'll hang here on pause. I'll just quickly take a little sip of water, and you can tell me when you're caught up.
Okay, speeding up right now, back in game. Tried to, we can explain later. But anyway, yeah, definitely still happy to be here. Still happy to be casting. Happy to be catching up and back in game now. It's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, this is a cool opportunity. These tournaments, I don't know if it's easier for other people, but for me, it's nearly impossible to talk for 8 hours straight. So having some really great co-casters come in is like an absolute lifesaver. So if you ever need a kidney, I think I owe you one.
Oh, you can keep the kidney, but you're welcome. I can actually play off of that. So bringing me into the community was definitely props to T90.
Okay.
Helped build his computer, and that was the first, as far as like AOE meetup thing I ever did. And the entire time I was there, friends and family members texted me like, "Do you still have all your kidneys? Is everything okay?" They were completely not okay with the idea of making a friend over Twitch through a video game.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. I've done a couple of meetups. I got to meet T90 a few times. Super nice guy. It just always blows me away.
Absolutely.
Everybody in this community seems to be pretty damn cool. We're really lucky. So big ups to T90 for expanding the community and for bringing Willis into the fray.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Definitely made it a blast. Made it so that I couldn't stay away. I just couldn't get enough, and that's why I started streaming my own.
Well, we are going to see the Viper come down off of this hill sometime soon. We're going to see dogao continue to treb down the Viper's castle. Sorry, guys, just some technical issues. Willis crashed, so we're getting him back up to speed, and we'll launch in just a moment.
Okay. And I believe I'm aiming for 3230?
3720 is the number.
3720. Yep. Okay. Glad I asked.
Game number 2 of this best of 5, guys. It will be the Viper trying to hold the line, dogao trying to get some momentum. And yeah, okay. Sounds like you're ready, right?
Just about there, almost. Okay. I can add to any viewers. One of the weirdest things that's about if you get the chance to meet one of your favorite streamers, such as KillerB, given a good microphone, if you've ever heard your own recording, you know, you always sound a little bit different. Given a good microphone, when you run into somebody for the first time, they are identical to how they sound over Twitch, and it's almost a little off-putting the first time.
Yeah, I agree. You hear someone's voice in real life, and you're like, wow, okay, that wasn't like a radio voice. That's not a game to them. That's just what they sound like.
Yes.
I can't wait to meet Rez in person. I think he'll have an amazing voice.
Well, you can just put you and Rez in the same room. You can talk about whatever you want, and everybody's just going to sit there amazed. You're like, oh my gosh, the voice quality, I can't too much, can't handle it.
Oh man, that would be amazing. All right, guys, let's get ready to rock and roll. I think, Willis, you're caught up now, right?
I'm at 3430, still climbing.
Okay, all right.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, the day started off a little rocky. I don't know what happened, but we were like, the stream was just not functioning properly. And I was like, oh God, there's already people here. It's 12 GMT. What the hell is happening? Luckily, we've been able to pull it together, and I think it's going nicely from a production standpoint. But yeah, we'll continue to roll through the day, guys. We did see Doughton say my name at 12 GMT. Viper and dogao playing now. At 16 GMT, we'll see MBL versus Stark. Ornlu will join for that. And the final game of the day will be 18 GMT, Hera versus Vinch.
Okay. I'm aiming for 3730.
That's perfect.
Alrighty, I say I am ready, and go right ahead.
All right, I just clicked go. I'm at 3725. I think we're in great shape. Thanks everybody for your patience. Okay, Willis, we're watching two guys fight over a hill. We did have a brief pause there, and I've been thinking about dogao's situation. I think his Chuko news will do nicely to keep the camels at arm's length, and now dogao is adding in halbs to make those camels even less comfortable. The Viper's winning the Treb War, and he has to win the Treb War, because I don't think he wants to push this position right now.
Absolutely. I think the fact that he can hide up on that hill is what's keeping him alive right now. Q staying alive. It's really that's what's keeping the Treb War up, because if that castle comes down, Viper loses that hill and possibly the game. But wow, all those Imperial camels coming down the hill, they're really gonna make that hurt.
Yeah, the Viper's got the heavy camel upgrade in, Chukonu firing away, Castle firing away, Halbs continue to reinforce. Viper's really invested in this fight, and dogao is microing back to a choke point. So it's not all gravy for the Viper's engagement, but he does soak up a lot of arrows, and he does kill the Trebs? Question mark? One Treb remains? Yes, it will go down.
It's still there. Oh, did it go down? There we go. Okay, only a couple seconds different.
Yeah, and now things are looking weird for dogao. He's got one castle on the right side that's getting trebbed by 2 Trebs from the Viper. He's got a castle in the middle. Go ahead.
He's choosing to repair the wrong castle. The other castle has been getting hit longer. Oh, he should be... I wish he could get more village. There we go. Okay, now he's switching over. He's going to need more villagers on the front here to keep these castles up.
This could be a great chance for dogao. Dogao is coming in with Chukonu. He's headed straight toward the vital part of Viper's eco. All of these gold piles are now fair game for Chukonu Arrowfire. Those elite Chukonu, they're shredding, aren't they?
Yes, they also shredded 2 Trebs on their way in. That's not something you get to see all the time, but dang did those Trebs, did they fall fast.
Yeah, and dogao is now adding in light cav, as is the Viper. Both guys want to harass their opponent in the mid to late game. About 110 to 120 vills for both guys. The Viper's military is a bit small at the moment, and dogao might be able to get more momentum.
Yes, dogao did end up losing one of his castles on the hill. I'm sad to see that. I think that could have been stopped with just a few more repairers. Ooh, but a 3rd castle going up back, a little further back to protect that gold. I say that's a good decision. That gold is going to be completely defended from any late cav raiding. But the rest of his base isn't. I think now would be a good time to take the moment and maybe seal up some of those walls.
Yeah, it might be a very good point. Dogao has had this army out on the front. He's been keeping the Viper in a nice little cage for a long time. But that might be coming to a close. We'll find out. Halberdier coming over from dogao to try to chase those camels around. Chukonu will go in on the left side. Chooks should find their way to a little bit more villager damage, but the Viper is on 130 vills, so he could stand to lose a couple. Trebs for the Viper keep going down. Dogao's doing a good job with his Chukonu. Resources in the bank, not a whole lot for the Viper, but a castle soon. Dogao's got a ton of gold. Holy cow, Willis. Dogao's got 2.5k gold.
That's a lot. That's intense.
Yeah.
I'd say that's intense like the circus. Throw out silly saying.
Oh, snap.
I would like to see dogao dive in with these Chukonu though.
Yeah.
Because there's so many choke points in between those stables and archery ranges that I think he could do a lot of villager damage.
Yeah.
And he could just hang out there for a very long time.
Yeah, and if we go to the Viper's point of view and we hit the Siege Workshop hotkey, there's not a Mangonel or an Onager roaming around or anything like that. The Viper is just defending with what is going to be some elite skirmishers, but dogao really does have a moment to dive in. Second game in a row that we've seen maybe an opportunity for dogao to dive in. He's staying patient in this game, and we'll see if it works out better for him. But yeah, we'll see. Go ahead.
On the right side, Viper dropping a castle on that gold, and dogao looks like he has more than enough light cav garrison in there. I wish he would just let them go, and then this castle's denied.
Oh, super good point.
That castle goes up just by not noticing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Dogao's not using those resources. He's still going to deny the castle for now, but light cav could definitely come in and, well, he denies it anyway, so no big deal. But yeah, leaving a couple light cav in the stable, and now the Chukonus will climb to the top of the hill. It's going to be Rams, capped Rams soon for dogao, along with Chukonus and Halbs. The Viper is basically full skirm and full Hussar with a couple of Trebs. And the Viper's taking more damage here in game number 2. dogao really is in it to win it.
Absolutely. I'm happy to see that from him. Something I'd like to see from dogao, though. While he has 1.4 wood and 1.8 gold, he doesn't have a single Chukonu queued up.
Okay. Leaving the castles idle, huh?
Absolutely. They've been idle for too long. Yeah, but he's throwing some camels in, maybe because he sees all these skirms. Okay. There can be a method to the madness.
Yeah, maybe so. dogao tries to roll in and keep pressure on the Viper's gold economy on the right. dogao does have this central extra gold pile. The Viper for now is not taking too much gold. He can't have very many gold miners in total. The number is going to be one. One gold miner for the Viper. Holy cow.
What an extremely weak gold miner is that. Oh, and that TC on Garrison, that was very close to a lot of villagers getting picked.
Yeah, the Viper's going to lose his TC, and dogao is going to roll down this hill. He will grab a couple villagers in retreat. Hussar coming over. The Chuko News will take some damage. There's a lot of elite skirmishers nearby. And this game, at 47 minutes, is still really, really undecided. Scores are almost identical.
Absolutely. I would love to see dogao continue to push his advantage. I believe he's spending more. He's got more queued up. Oh, he's spending it on a treb. But I believe Viper is more open than dogao is choosing to push. Viper also forced to his back woodline almost alone. That front woodline's getting pretty bare, getting very overcrowded.
Viper's going to add in some siege now. This is the first siege workshop that I've seen coming down. He'll have another castle to defend himself for a while, but dogao wants to fix that with a couple siege rams rolling in. Chuko new numbers for dogao seem to be a lot lower than they were a few minutes ago, but maybe production will start up on those again soon. Not a whole lot of camels roaming around either. It's mostly, for dogao, just a small army on the right of some halbs and some chooks. Viper is pumping out a lot of elite skirms, and that seems to be his unit of choice along with some hussar at the moment. Makes sense because the Viper has very few gold miners, although he does send some vills out to gold right now.
I believe it's his only choice at the moment. And Viper's going to go rams to just absorb Chuka fire, I assume, for now. Or he's researching cap rammed at the moment.
Yeah, this is a really interesting late game matchup as the Viper continues to try to claw his way out of his base. He tries to keep defending these golds. Even the gold that he has is kind of not so ideal. Lots of villagers bumping each other. Viper will try to climb the hill again on dogao. The Treb War is in full effect. Chuko News with a hill bonus versus elite skirms. And for now, dogao is doing fine to continue to hold that choke point. Castle for dogao is taking damage, but if he can kill a few of the Viper's trebs, he probably could still be fine here. The game shifts into minute 50, Willis. Who's winning right now? Who's got the advantage?
I want to give dogao the advantage, but Viper is holding against him so well that as much as we see, I think we should see more out of dogao as far as pushing is concerned. I mean, simply light calves would just be annoying at the moment, completely. If he just would run 5 into the base. And I believe he finally is. He's starting to circle some light cav around, but definitely advantage dogao.
4 light cav roaming to the side. Willis wanted 5. So if that's the difference in the game, then then you should get over an award if there was just 1 more light cav. But no, it's a great point. Those light cav heading into the Viper's economy are going to be super annoying. Viper is stonewalling as much as he can. He's got 143 vills. But of course, raiding at this point in the game is very important to keep your opponent suppressed because it slows down their ability to produce. dogao's got 62 units versus the Viper's 33. It's time for dogao to make a big push, and he is circling the wagons. Everything is headed toward the right side of the Viper's base.
I wonder if that's specifically just to take down that castle. It has to be, with all the trebs following.
Yeah, I think
while I understand wanting to take down the castle, I don't quite get the decision. I think I would have just pushed straight through that, between that cliff and the wood there. I think needing to take down this castle on the right just isn't necessary.
All right. I like it.
It's one of those tunnel vision moments that, oh, I need to take down every castle on the way there. Little does dogao know, that castle is kind of an afterthought now. It's not really protecting anything.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, we'll see dogao push in on that side. He's very invested with 3 trebs. Most of his army is here. Lots of light cav were thrown into the fray for a while. Viper is circling the wagons as well. He's sending everything over to this side. And for now, that castle is going to start taking some damage. 3 trebs firing away. dogao... Oh, go ahead. I'm at 53:30.
Okay, take a look to the left. You're with me. Viper dropping a base. And that base is going to be very substantial in the next few moments here.
Yeah, the Viper is getting cheeky on the left side with some hussar coming in. dogao is somewhat ready for it with a few halbs, but definitely a big threat on the left side from the Viper with a small army as dogao does bludgeon down that castle from the Viper. dogao kind of wins a gold pile to go along with that he can mine. That has about...
One house there blocking raiding might be very substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. Hussar diving in, but they are in quite small numbers now.
And that's kind of what you like to see, though. dogao's going to have to spread out so many halberdiers across his base to deal with this, because the Hussar can just move around. And it's going to take a lot of focus off of his push.
Yeah, we've got 5 gold miners now for Gouw as the gold on the map starts to go into a really low quantity. 3 relics for the Viper, 2 relics for Gouw. Gouw just won himself a new gold pile on the right, but it remains to be seen how long he can hold that for. Light Cav and Chukonu fighting against mostly skirms, but some Hussar mixed in here as well from the Viper. Yellow player's still running around in the back of his opponent's base, but his Hussar get cleaned up for pretty cheap. And the Viper's rating basically gets squashed there. Really nice play here from Gouw.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I hope to see. The Viper coming with he's getting another raid prepared, and I don't think the guy realizes he just cut the last tree and it's open.
Oh, okay, where are we at? Where's the...
56-18?
Oh, but you mean the tree in Gouw's base, or...
Yes, tree in Gouw's base on the left side. While Viper's got another small raid ready, it's going to be able to walk right in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Basically just continued throwing of everything into the middle of this big fray for this big hill for Viper and Gouw on the right. But the Viper has carved a few units off on the other side. He's got a few rams, a few Hussar, a couple of elite skirms, and he's ready to try to harass Gouw a bit more. Gouw's still holding the line, but once those walls go down, it could be a little bit of a different story. Blue player has taken the hill, though, Willis, and he's really grinding the Viper down.
I believe with enough focus on this, if that castle goes down, we're going to see a lot harder raiding all of a sudden. And Viper just sent heavy camels and mamelukes. I wonder if Viper had 2.5k food a moment ago. I believe he sold in order to make all these gold units.
It makes sense because the Viper hasn't had too much gold to mine for quite a while. So he will have a couple of elite Mamelukes out, and Viper will run in to try to snipe these Trebs. Can't afford to lose this castle, so he's going to put what he has into the fray to try to kill a couple of Trebs. Does get one, might get another with the Siege Ram, which sneaks up, but no, Gouw continues to Treb away.
Alright, this is, there we go, there's the pivotal fight. But during this pivotal fight, there is, I'm going to say about 10 Hussars. There's the difference, 10 Hussars in the back, as well as some skirms being annoying in the front of Gouw's base. I think castle comes down right now. That's great for Gouw.
Yeah, Gouw gets the castle. He is going to have to sustain some mosquito bites in the back of his eco because there are a good little group of Hussar here to make some havoc. If we look at Gouw's resources, he is hurting on food. So if he does want to continue to build halbs and to build light cav, he is going to have to stabilize all that farming eco. But Gouw did knock down the castle. He's now trying to knock down the siege workshops. Viper's Mamelukes are a big investment here, and this is the Viper's, this is his big play. It's not a huge amount of mammies, but this dozen Mamelukes is, it's an investment, and this has to pay off if the Viper's going to be able to hold.
Absolutely. Small note, Viper's at 80 mil, or Gouw's at 80 military to Viper's 40. Numbers are a little off now, 72 to 38. But it's another moment where I don't think Gouw realizes it's time to just commit to this. I'm gonna say to going in and winning.
Yeah, absolutely. Gouw is pedal to the metal. He's adding in siege workshops, and he's going to give it another go. Needs to regroup though, because right now his army's looking thin. Go ahead.
Half of Gouw's army is committed to cleaning up that left forward base from Viper. Okay.
Gotcha.
So good choices there.
Yeah, at the end of it, losing the 2 Trebs does not bother me that much. I would love if Gouw could keep this gold under his possession, but I don't think it's going to be possible. He is bringing in reinforcements, a huge chain of troops coming over to try to reinforce this position. But right now, the Viper's getting some really easy Chukonu cleanups. So Gouw will have to go back, and we will reset at 1 hour and 1 minute into a game that's a pretty stalemate-y sort of a game.
Absolutely. Do we see it go into trash again?
Yeah, I mean, eventually, right? It's got to get there sometime. We'll see. Viper will come out and start taking that gold that Gouw just vacated. Viper hanging on top of the hill with his elite skirms. We will see a couple of rams in the wings for our player in blue. Gouw will soon have enough units here to make another push. Resources for Gouw seem fine, 107 vils. The Viper's floating a lot of food. He can pump a lot of Hussar, but that's about all he's really qualified to make in high number.
Ooh, I'm at 2 minutes 30, and dogao just now running in light cav to the back of the base.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Good call. I do see that. Good little group of light cav running in. Go ahead.
And the Viper moved a ton of villagers off farms into the TCs. And that's going to really help with stalling how much he's collecting to make hussars. But with 1 point, we're now 2k in the bank. Is it going to matter that much? I think the Viper cleans this before it truly matters.
Well, the raiding attempts to come in and do damage. The Viper in dogao are throwing haymakers in the middle of the map, just throwing armies into the meat grinder. It looks like the Viper will now dive a couple of hussar into the back of dogao's eco. But nobody's able to land too much damage, Willis. A lot of these armies go in, but they don't actually kill very much.
Right. Yeah, they're both still, well, dogao right around 100 vills, Viper at about 120. Right about where they want to be. And just there's no one consistent, this is working.
Yeah, nobody's making real progress here. If it was an MMA fight, it might be time to stand the two wrestlers up and go back at it on their feet. But there's no stand up in this. This is just who's going to have the wherewithal to grind the other guy down. Both of these guys, of course, are used to these long-term games and these crazy scrambles, but I'm getting tired just watching it, man. I don't know if I could still spam at a good rate at this point in the game.
Well, that's great that you say that, because dogao just now getting his spam back up. I was watching for as he had about, I'm going to say about 2k wood, 2k food, and he just wasn't continuing to produce. A little unfortunately, his gather points are very far away to the right for these barracks. I'd say that's a long waste of time of where they're going to.
Yeah, this game is one of these games that is definitely a grind you out sort of a match. Gouw has a nice little bonus with this extra gold pile right now, 60 military for each guy. I like the looks of this big bank of Chukonu, and I like the halves in front of them. Viper's number of elite skirms doesn't scare me so much yet, but the Viper is not going to be foolish and send his units in until the right moment. More skirms coming, and we'll see them continue to fight over this hill. Maybe until the wood runs out. Maybe that's where this one's going.
Well, if we're going to look at it that way, that's a big advantage to Gouw, because Viper was forced to his back wood lines a while ago. And if they have to move towards the what am I trying to say? The forward wood lines, sorry about that, Gouw's already set up to claim most of them, other than the one under Viper's castle.
That's a very interesting point. Yeah, the Viper here actually is in a bit of a sticky situation. He doesn't have a whole lot more wood to take. Very good point. It's still a grinding out fight in the middle, but maybe dogao can rest on the fact that he does have a couple of wood lines left to work with. Did chop down all of the backwoods, but he does have at least one or two good wood lines in the middle of the map to still take.
Yes. dogau's going a little bit higher on Vil. Looks like he's climbing towards 120 now. Understands where he's at in the game, and he actually did drop a TC on the wood line. Thanks to a viewer for pointing that out. So he's thinking the same way we are. It's about to go super late game. I need to control woods, not golds. Golds are almost gone.
Yeah, and we've seen the Viper just staying alive all game long. We're now approaching the hour and 10 minute. By the way, I'm at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 30 seconds, Mr. Willis.
All right.
This game has been an absolute dogfight. dogao, like you said, continues to control the wood. The Viper does have the onus on him a little bit to make some form of a push. He is still trying to climb up this hill on the middle of the map. And Viper was still trying to push in on the left, but dogao so far has parried all major blows from the Viper's raiding parties. And we still grind on, man.
I would love to see simply, I don't know, one ram just to clean up those 4 buildings just to make it stop.
Yeah, it is true.
It's getting more value than it's being protected. It shouldn't be allowed effectively.
It's an interesting point. Yeah, dogao is still not able to take that area down. Blue player continues to hang on his little berm, and the Viper is hanging out on the hill next door, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting for the right moment. Notably,
you know what I'd love to see?
Go ahead.
Sorry, continue.
No, I was just saying Viper is trying to move out to new wood lines, but nothing too crazy yet. Go ahead.
I'd love to see one mangonel coming out of that siege workshop on the right that's being used for siege rams.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? One nice, couple nice mango shots could be really beneficial. at this point.
Absolutely.
The Viper is waiting to strike, says YBNVS in the chat. Well, Viper is going to have to find a little bit more of an army. Right now it's 56 total military form. He does have a couple Mamelukes in the mix, and those units could be quite nice, but the Chuko news for dogao on the opposite hill continue to hold the line. Dogao may have listened to your words, Willis. He may actually come and finish off some of this production of the Viper on the left.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
He's somehow time travel stream cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But while he does that, the Viper continues to wait for his moment to push this hill.
I think other than those now 2 gold tiles, I say other than wood, the map's cleaned up. I don't believe there's any stone. Oh, there's 1 gold pile near the Viper with 315 on it. Oh, there's 1 treb for the Viper. I believe you were saying cheekily before. Cheekily trying to treb down a castle. And all dogao has to do is see it and send a halb or a couple light cab. I'm a little nervous that castle's going to go down for free.
Yeah, that treb is, it's a plucky little treb, isn't it? It's out there on its own. Just the world told it not to go and treb down the castle by itself, but it's not listening. Viper's probably going to get that castle. Really good eyes, Willis.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, wait. Do we have 1 light cab coming in to make the difference? No. Nope, it was going somewhere else. Ooh, this might not get seen in time. Oh, wait, we've got repairers. Okay, but we've got no military units moving to do anything about it.
Well, repairers is a good start.
I'm not saying the little trebs that could.
We were praying for this little treb, but it does not look like it's going to get the job done. Dogao has identified it. Although he's out of stone, dogao should be able to knock down the treb with light cav. So the Viper getting a lot of damage in with 1 treb, but not quite finishing the job. Viper still trying to climb the hill with elite Mamelukes. He does still have some skirms in the mix. Military numbers are still plus 20 for dogao, so dogao is still in a nice position, at least as far as the numbers go. But this looks like a pretty meaty push from the Viper with a couple of siege ram in front of it.
Absolutely, I believe he was able to clean up. He gained some ground. He absolutely did. Dogao now getting all these archery ranges up. So he's going to be able to spam a lot harder, a lot closer, and that's going to make the difference with how far those barracks were, how the deers were running from the barracks.
It's really a shame. I think, okay, dogao is now identifying that the Viper is taking wood here on the far right of the map. Dogao is sending over some elite skirms now.
Oh.
I was going to say it's a shame that dogao isn't raiding those woodlines because there's nothing to protect those villagers. He'll start sending over elite skirms. By the way, dogao dropping 6 archery ranges down, probably seeing the writing on the wall that he needs more skirmisher production to the top of this hill. Dogao has cleaned Viper's buildings on the left side for now, and we will see continued fighting, continued meat grinder in the middle.
Say he's cleaned them. Can I get a time check for you?
Yeah, sure. I'm at 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, we are right on. Okay, I just still saw an archery range.
Yeah. I got a little hasty.
Yeah, but we're gonna. Oh wait, is that the 1 ram?
Yeah, there's
time travel stream cheat confirmed.
Yeah, 1 ram finishing off the buildings on the left side there for dogao. But in the meantime, somehow the Viper has just massively overwhelmed this hill.
Yes, I'm not quite sure how he did it so effectively, but there it is. It's just there's nothing dogao has to say about this at all right now. I believe the Viper has enough resource in the bank. Oh wow, he has 3k food. He's not worried about raiding at all right now.
The Viper, interestingly, has 5 lumberjacks right now. He's trying to establish new wood lines. He's got 82 wood in the bank, so he's basically pigeonholed into building Hussar until he can get something going. Dogao is into the back of the Viper's eco with some light cav, trying to do some raiding on the farms. And as the Viper takes a little bit of the middle of the map under his wing, dogao does get in some raiding. But very notably, dogao was taking a lot of wood on this 1 patch near this new TC, and the Viper is now ramming that town center down.
Yeah, it looks like. I don't think dogao's going to come and take that at all in any amount of any time enough.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking good for that side of the map for dogao. He does have a little bit of wood to chop in the middle of the map, so he will continue to have an economy that's rolling forward. He's going to have to rebuild his production because the Viper is going to start killing it pretty soon. But on the bright side, dogao, well, he did get some good raiding on the Viper. It does eventually get cleaned up, though.
Right. So it's kind of funny to see dogao is usually pretty heavy on wood, Viper's usually pretty heavy on food. For some reason, dogao is not able to balance that out. I don't know if he just doesn't have enough farms or just his unit composition. I guess he's not really calling for it. But in times where we could see some light calves help out against all those skirmishers, he just doesn't have the food for it. Oh, and now he's up to 1,000 food after I say that. I don't know, maybe he bought and sold some.
dogao is scraping the bottom of the barrel for resources. The Viper is starting to look pretty happy and healthy on 3,000 food with almost 500 gold in the bank. Good number of Mamelukes for the Viper. I think his composition here is going to be pretty nice as the game gets later and later. But the Snake's got some work to do. He's won back some map control, but both guys with massive militaries. 85 military for the Viper, about 90 for dogao. It's going to still be a little time before we see the deadlock get broken, but maybe the Viper has some momentum here.
Absolutely. I think at this point, dogao's full trash, so those Mamelukes are going to make a difference.
Yeah, these Mamelukes should shred, especially sitting on top of this hill. Like, even the rams coming up the hill are not quite as advantageous, so those Mammies should do a pretty good job. But we'll see. We'll see if the Viper can break the gridlock.
Absolutely. I believe some of the hands are going to get forced right now as Viper starts to siege down that first workshop, or ram down that first siege workshop. Wow, I'm getting stuck in tongue twisters today.
Yeah, this is a challenging one. We're really deep into this match. We will see the Viper powering up a TC in the middle of the map to try to take over a nice wood line there. For now, dogao is holding the bottom of this hill with trash, but the Viper probably is getting pretty good trades. We should see rams coming down here in just a moment. And maybe we can see the Viper raiding a little bit in the back of dogao's eco with a couple of hussar.
Back of dogao's. I see one. You see a couple coming soon?
There were just a couple of units in the far north corner that I think they just got killed.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong spot. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, nothing too crazy going on.
Notably switched off of wood. He was up to 71 farmers. Now it's down to 61. He was definitely thinking maybe get more wood out, but he's still a little imbalanced.
Yeah, and right now, right now it's looking like dogao is a little bit halberdier thin, and the Viper is still very food rich. So more hussar coming into the mix could be a bit problematic for dogao. We do see a couple of Chuko news in here, but just one or two here and there.
I think same thing I wanted to say earlier, or did say earlier. I'd love to see one Mangonel come out and attempt to make a difference here.
Yeah, the Viper continues to camp on top of this hill. He's building the odd Mameluke, and that number of Mamelukes has increased to about 20, so there's a pretty scary group of Mamelukes on top of the hill. 77 military for the Viper, and just 70 for dogao.
Yes, actually, some of those Mamelukes are hurt, so a good placed Mangonel shot would actually take out, about 5 of them. That can be the difference maker from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For now, the Viper continues to skate on thin ice with that group. He has not really taken too much damage on the Mamelukes. They've stayed out of range for a while. And that hill continues to be under the control of the Viper, who continues to take all of the wood that he can cluster around that hill. dogao's got one little wood line on this side, but it is really getting thin. So the time is really ticking. There's just a couple of small woods for our player in blue. And the Viper does seem to be actually grinding forward now, coming off that hill, Willis.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to push in there with dogao. I don't want to quite say out of position, but almost just out of units in the area. That'll be able to push Viper's advantage down. And while the siege workshops aren't adding too much to the mix, I think they're currently the choke point. And so I think we're about to see one go down.
dogao's got 2 castles hanging on by a thread back at home, but those are still alive, and they are giving him some ability to defend his own island. His own position, I should say. We are going to see a little halb raiding on the left side. The Viper has a new TC on some wood lines. But I think ultimately this game comes down to 2 big armies slowly grinding each other out in the middle of the map. And for about the last 15 or 20 minutes, we've seen the Viper making slow but steady progress here.
Absolutely. It's almost like it's just a micro match, using those Mamelukes to pick off Halbs or Chukunu when they show up, and then the skirmishers don't really have much to say after that.
Yeah, and this could be a back-breaking moment. The Mamelukes are coming in full force. We got a couple of Halbs out in front of this group, but not enough to deal with the Mamelukes. They should clean them up pretty easy. Viper's got a lot of Hussar here, and you could foresee him really pushing dogao back even further. Dogao's castle on top of that hill is on 400 HP, so don't expect that to be the great bastion of hope. In the meantime, the Viper spreading Hussar everywhere. This game is starting to look like it's going really sour for dogao.
I have to agree with you there. I think it's as much as we want dogao to, when we want him to push advantages, Viper always comes through and knows when he does have the advantage and just seems to push it correctly 9 times out of 10. Such as if these Hussar are about to go be a nuisance everywhere, that's gonna be a big deal all over the map. I think that's exactly what the Viper's thinking. Pick off a few farmers and then go everywhere.
Dogao has made some progress on the left, denying the Viper a little bit of wood, but it is 74 villagers left for the blue player. So he's got a tiny ray of light that he's done some damage, but lots of Hussar continuing to run relatively unchecked into Dogao's eco. Gouw will dive in, though, with some light cav. I don't know if you're seeing that in the Viper's base, Willis, but he's going to go for it with another dozen light cav.
Okay, I'm speeding up. Looks like I'm catching up to you a little bit at the moment.
Okay, I'm at 128.15.
Okay, yep, I'm going full speed ahead, catching up to you.
Cool, cool. Yeah, Gouw is kind of going for it here on the eco rating. He's going to have trouble stopping the Viper's push. The Viper just bought a castle, I think, which is pretty exciting to see. He's going to drop a castle right on those extra wood piles and really solidify that spot. You don't see that every day, do you?
Not at all. He must have sold... He didn't even... It wasn't still the majority of his food. He still has about like 1k food. Alright, I am at 128.30 as far as catching up is concerned.
Alright, I'm still about 45 seconds ahead of you. I'm watching...
I'll stay moving faster.
Alright, cool. I'm watching the Viper cleaning up Gouw's raiding. I'm watching Viper trying to roll in with some rams. He's going to first finish the castle and then finish the treb. Oh, he's not going to finish the castle. 300 HP left on the castle, just barely hanging by a thread. But the Viper does have a treb coming, and he should be able to finish the job. Gouw has 0 stone, so he can't repair that castle.
And it's just going to take the one shot, I believe, correct? With hill bonus? Yes, it's down.
Yeah, so a one-shot knockout for that castle for the Viper. He continues to grind the middle of the map. Gouw continues to challenge a bit for the left side, but Gouw's running out of options here. He's on 28 wood. His total number of lumberjacks is 21. He does have a lot of farmers still going at it, but the wood is going to be a real issue because he's losing one of his very last wood lines that he has left.
That's unfortunate. Trying to look at what options he has left. Viper's sent plenty of Hussar over to that left wood line around the oasis. Gouw's chopping what little wood he has left safe. I'm thinking we're seeing a moment here where Gouw has to win somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Gouw now to try to make something happen. I think that the Viper's got him kind of over a barrel, but we'll see. Viper is working on bludgeoning down some of the production from Gouw on the side. We do have a treb still in play for the Viper. That's probably the only treb on the map. Gouw is going deep into Halbs. He's got one more massive army of Halbs to hold his middle wood line. But it is looking pretty desperate. 19 lumberjacks total for blue. Viper on his side has 45.
Okay.
Fallstar has a... Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I see Gouw's trying his best setting those halberdiers down against those light cav, or hussars. But those Mamluks are going to clean up the skirmishers, I assume come around then and clean up the Halbs. Well, actually, did we see Mamluk numbers dwindle? Oh no, they were just spread out a little more. Actually, down to 9 Mamelukes. So they were committed somewhere. Committed and kind of eaten up a little bit.
Fallstar was saying that losing a long game like this can absolutely crush your morale. I think it's true. It's so hard to pull yourself up after you fought it out for an hour and a half. Whoever goes away with a loss is going to really be deflated after this game. But we'll see. We'll have to see how the next game shapes up. Probably worth noting to you guys that this game was exceptionally long, and so we're a little bit behind on schedule. We're not going to obviously be able to start the next set of matches in 5 minutes because we're only on game 2 here. And if dogao wins this game, this could still go to 5 games. So I guess it could go to 5 games in either case. So we're going to fall behind schedule. My apologies for that, everybody.
It happens from time to time. Last notable tournament I remember like this was King of the Hippo, and that one fell very, very behind schedule. So to be honest, you're just falling with the normal of what happens.
Yeah, I guess I drastically underestimated the chances of a 1 hour and, I don't know, maybe 45-minute game that we're going to get here. But hey, it's been quite a show. Quite a lot of liver punches and body punches in this game. The Viper's still grinding forward. dogao is desperately, I think, trying to raid on the bottom. We do have the blue player establishing a new TC and a new woodline on the left of the map. So this could be the game that never ends at the rate that we're going.
I've only seen it once. I have seen a game end in a stalemate where both players just said, I can't push you, can you push me? And both just like, no. But I don't think we'll see that today. That happened to be an island map.
Yeah, especially prevalent on islands, maybe 1 in 100 times. But man, on Arabia, we would really be making some serious news if we if we end up casting what turns into a stalemate. That would be pretty unique. We do see dogao still diving in and doing damage, but we do now see dogao giving the GG 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 13 seconds. Oh, Willis, holy cow, man. What a game. What a crazy, crazy game. We saw the Viper playing defensively all early game long. He had a bunch of gold piles that were basically made him kind of hamstrung at pushing out. We saw camels from both players. We eventually saw dogao switching into halbs and Chuko News. It looked at many points in that game like dogao was going to take it, but the Viper just continued to be the little engine that could and just slowly but surely climbed up out of this hill, pulled himself up by the bootstraps, and ground dogao down. Eventually, the Viper controls most of the important wood and has a 57-22 military advantage. So, if you have any breath in your lungs, Willis, what's your final thoughts on this game?
One big one. Okay, continuing on with it. I think we see some similar stuff from game 1, whereas not quite to the same magnitude, but when given advantages, seemed like dogao was less confident than Viper when Viper played his advantages. We could see moments where we would just wish dogao would push a few more tiles in and make some more decisive pushes, and we just didn't see it. I'll give him plenty of credit here. He played a phenomenal game. Just a few tweaks. It's like, man, if that castle was a little closer to the woods or a little close to that cliff, I think that would have made incremental differences in pushes that might have won him the game.
Yeah.
But hindsight's 2020. It's very helpful to all I have to do is press one button and I see the entire map. These players would crush me any day of the week. So they definitely both played their hearts out, and props to the both of them.
Yeah, a really great game. I really, even in a loss, dogao really put on an amazing show there. There were moments where I thought he was going to take it over, but of course, the Viper is not an easy out, even if you've got a nice advantage. So that will make it 2-0, and I think we should, for the sake of time, dive into game number 3. If you're ready and able to do another game, Willis.
Can you stomach a about 1 minute, 30-second break?
Sure, man. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I'll let you go through the achievements, and I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Hey, guys. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out here still today in the channel. It is a bit of a pity. I know some of you were saying earlier that we don't have quality options. I hope that that will be rectified as the day goes on. As an affiliate streamer, you don't always get quality options. It's only when they're available and when you have viewers that warrant you, like it's sort of a pecking order for affiliates. You don't always get it. But we have had a ton of support. I do want to say thanks. There's about 25 new followers during that game, which is really a wild number. That's a crazy number. YBMVS just subscribed during that previous game as well. So thanks very much for that. And Kraka before that game donating $50. that's a really kind donation from you, and I think you were saying that we can split it amongst the prize pool in the future event, which I will do. Looking to add a little more to the prize pool to beef up second, third, and fourth place over the next few days, but there is no pressure, guys. We have a little bit of cash in the channel bank to make that happen. I just want to make it a nice little tournament for these guys to play in. You know, I think that a lot of these pros that I've met, they would be willing to play as a favor. But, you know, we've gotten some great donations. All I do is cast games that they're working hard and that they're playing. So it does feel a little bit like I owe these guys the opportunity to win some money from time to time. I feel a little bit like we have a derivative entertainment here. Like, all I do is really cast games. So we got to give some love to the players. We have the same headset microphone, says Dark Age. This headset is okay. The microphone is actually a Yeti. So I don't know, maybe we still have the same microphone headset setup, but the mic on this thing is maybe not quite as good. You should maybe look for one of these Yeti Blues. They're not bad. We're running behind schedule, Ornlu. Yep, you ready?
Hi there. Yep, I am here.
Okay, great. Thanks, MBL, for the host. Welcome to the channel, everybody coming over from MBL's stream. We are running behind schedule. Ornlu, if this screws up your schedule, that's totally fine, man. I don't want to screw up your day. We will have Ornlu coming on for the next set of games. But right now, we've got a third game from the Viper and Gouw, and it is a best of 5. So we are certainly going to be behind schedule because we should be launching into MBL and Stark now. Some really, really crazy long games from the Viper. I'm going to launch now, Willis, and pause, and when you're ready, we'll go for it.
All right, you might as well tell me once you're launched because I'm in here ready and paused.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we will have Ornlu coming in next. Right now we are speaking with Willis. You can see Willis's information by putting in !casters, and I strongly recommend you guys to do that, and then click on his channel and give this guy some love. I'm ready when you are. If you want to count down, I'll click it. Go ahead.
Alrighty, Killer B, I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. And thank you for the love, and hello to Killer B's channel for the 3rd time today.
Oh yeah, we are in game number 3 of a best of 5. The Viper with a win can close this series out. And interestingly, right off the bat, we see a very interesting Civ matchup. Viper has Koreans, which is a nasty Civ to deal with, very OP in the pushing sense. And I think we saw dogau's stats to start this series that Persians is one of his worst Civs for his win rate, which is maybe not totally surprising in the grand scheme of things. It's not the most OP Civ. So this could be a chance to see dogao, who wants a re, who would say, give me a re, give me a new Civ. But of course, in this tournament, each player has 1 veto per set, and we might see the Viper say, I veto your re, I'm going to make you play this game because Koreans are ultra OP. But we'll get there when we get there. Willis, I want to give you a chance to jump in. Tell me what you see on the map, and thanks for joining me.
What I saw, first comment, I've got to play along with your chat here. I want to see the re called, and I want to see the veto. I think in this position, Viper, he might go for the tower masterpiece. I gotta agree with the viewers here. I don't know if the Gouws watched as much Viper stuff as the rest of us, but that's definitely a known Viper Trolls video kind of thing. But what else I see with that back gold and back stones, it continues to play into the possibility of 3 in towers. dogao, his woodlines, not all that favorable. I'm gonna say very hard to wall up. Just finding his last 2 sheep. A little bit under the 4-minute mark, about 3:15. But yes, I don't see too much good to say about dogau's map here, and I think Viper might play into what we want to see here.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Are you at 340?
Yeah, I'm seeing dogao calling re, and the Viper is saying veto. So again, to run through the rules, this is our first veto of the day. If you call a re and your opponent says okay, then you both get new civs and you both get new maps. But 1 time per set, each player is allowed to use their veto. And in this case, the Viper with a fantastic map for a Trush, and with dogao with a really weak civ, the Viper will use his veto, and we will see this game go on. So despite dogau's call of a re, we're going to see this game. And Willis, this is probably going to be a masterpiece. I mean, like you said, with the back stones, Koreans versus Persians, there's not a lot here that dogao has to rest on. But tell me what you would do in defense, Persians versus Koreans, if you had to play this one out.
In these wacky settings, I think I would have gone mind games. I think I would have went immediately into the Persian douche.
Okay.
And then knowing that Viper was probably going to veto, I think I would have faked calling for the re, knowing the veto's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about when the 2C would go up.
I like it.
Maybe not that moment, but that's what I'd be thinking.
I like it. Very creative answer. What we are going to see from dogao is probably not a douche. He's got 3 villagers on the backwood. He is going to build toward the feudal age. And oh boy, I didn't even notice. dogao lost a vill. dogao lost a villager, lured in the board. Did you see that?
I did not see it, but I'm being told.
Oh, baby.
By, my extra sets of eyes.
Okay. Always good to have extra eyes. dogao will not only not get the re, he will not only have to fight Koreans, he's going to have 1 less villager in the Dark Age. Go ahead.
Almost as if the viewers are prophets, we see Viper go into his backstone.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to. I mean, this is one of those 18 villager ups for the Viper. He probably had 2 villagers on wood, maybe 3 in the early game. He's going to expand out to taking stone on the back of the map, and it's going to be a kind of a naked-looking Trush. I think that's probably going to be the case. For now, Viper will chew down some food while Feudal Age ticks in, and we'll see if he can time this just right. If we look at scouting, the Viper has found dogao's base, but he hasn't found too much other than the main gold and the secondary gold. dogao's scouting is pretty thorough. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, oh, wow, to, yeah, Viper's lack of scouting. I'm surprised to see that. I'm also very surprised to see the scout idle when Viper's bring the Trush in.
Yeah, I did a video analyzing like scout idle time, and I watched 10 Viper games. Well, I watched many pro games, but 10 games from the Viper. He's usually got his scout idle for less than 5 seconds in the Dark Age. This game is definitely an exception. Lots of idle. Interestingly, though, I'm at 820, by the way. Interestingly, I'm seeing the 6 villagers coming forward for Viper, and dogao has scouted it already. So
absolutely,
dogao's ready to bring some villagers into the fray, and he's ready to fight a little hand-to-hand combat. This is probably going to be a key moment. You can't lose this tower push if you're Viper, right?
No, you cannot, because he's invested too much into it, and with dogao scouting it, it's going to be a big deal. Viper losing the scout work because there's extra villager there, but dogao slightly out of position. These villagers might start. Yep, they will start the tower on that small hill. Not extremely effective. I'd like to see dogao commit to the villager fight right now. And there it goes. Nice.
So I'm at 947, and I am seeing the first and second tower trying to come up, and I'm seeing dogao denying the second tower. First tower might go up, but dogao should be there in time to rush it down. But no, dogao's going back. I'm a bit surprised that he went back there.
I don't understand that choice. I believe he had the advantage. Oh, also, why is he going so far back? He needs to not drop an outpost. Oh, he doesn't have the wood to drop a defensive tower.
I see.
Oh, wow. That's a big deal right now.
The Viper will have...
He played defending this tower rush so well, and then just wasn't set up to stop it, though.
Yeah, it's that first tower from the Viper is a little jumping off point. The second tower gets closer to Xanadu, and then the third tower is actually kind of quite annoying. So we'll see our player in yellow building towers. We'll see our player dogao in blue with 1 or 2 scouts. I think he's got 1 spearman who just died and 1 scout on the map. So dogao's taking stone. He's going to try to defend this tower push from Koreans, but he's already on the back foot as this game rolls forward. The Viper is getting closer and closer to dogao's production, and this could be a very difficult position for dogao. This could be a game that he loses sub 20 minutes if it keeps going the way it's going.
All right, and dogao just... he doesn't have the resources, period, to even drop another tower right now. So that 4th tower is going up with ease. That 5th tower is going to go up by the 1 villager.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to lock dogao out of resources. Now, dogao's doing a pretty good job walling certain areas of the map. But just the lack of wood, I think, is gonna show rather quickly here about how to not defend from a tower rush.
Well, dogau's going to have a defensive tower coming. The Vipers will be up soon as well. Back at home, Viper is on 27 vills. Dogao is on 24. We do not see a blacksmith from the Viper, so if you're thinking about that route, we're not quite there yet. Not enough wood in the bank for Mr. Viper. Same thing for Dogao. Dogao's tower is, for the moment, annoyed, but should, I think, go up to try to hold them on.
Those villagers are perfectly placed out of range to make sure the tower goes up.
Yeah, Dogao sustained some damage here, but he's trying to hold his opponent off. It looks like Viper might try to push now more on the right side of the map, with more towers rolling in. We still don't see much of a military for either player. Dogao with 2 units, 1 scout that we can see, and another scout as well on the map. So basically, tower defense versus tower offense all in at the moment.
Yes. Do you see Viper's gate there? I believe he was off by a couple tiles trying to not let maybe a scout batter down that tower. Was maybe his thought process?
Yep.
I'm not sure. But the scout could still ungarrison and get in there. Oh, but it wouldn't be able to run away. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation. I think, yeah, you're right. The scout would be in there and able to peck away at the tower, but it would be trapped. For now, Dogao is not going to ungarrison on that side. He's going to wait for a few more moments. Continued walling from Dogao. Continued defensive play. Just to give you a time check, I'm at 15 minutes, 20 seconds. And we will continue to roll forward and see if this turns into a masterpiece. I don't know, Willis. Dogao has played really, really great this whole series. All 3 games. The first 2 games, and now this 3rd game he's playing well. I'm really cheering for Gouw to come back. He has stabilized some of the bleeding, but it is looking a little bit hairy for him. What do you think? Do you think Gouw can pull his way back in this game?
I think he has a chance because we're not quite out of Mona Lisa yet, but we're far above kindergarten noodle art. I think what we do for Gouw is if he hurries up and drops a tower, protecting, making sure that Viper doesn't get a tower in range of that stone. One more tower knocks down a solid defense for Gouw on the right side.
Ooh, here comes Gouw with 3 scouts.
Ooh, wow, but Viper with did it work? Yep, one heck of a quick wall.
Pretty good. Gouw walled him in.
Oh man.
Wonderful play from Gouw getting that house down. Oh my god. Talk about picking your moments. Gouw's going to get 5 vills here.
We're wondering where the masterpiece was coming from. I'm going to go with Gouw's house. That's the prettiest house I've ever seen.
Oh my god, sometimes...
and then that tower's going to be battered down? Wow.
Sometimes you're focused on the towers when you should be focused on the houses. And wow, Gouw just flipped the script. The villager counts are now equal, and the Viper lost a ton of wind. If his boat was sailing along fine before that, it is certainly slowed down now as he basically has no more forward vills. Viper falls back into a market that is coming up now. He will drop a blacksmith as well. But man, Willis, what a moment. What a moment for Gouw.
I think that's going to be, as far as casting or something I've watched effectively live to myself, I think that's the best moment I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's getting crazy in here. That was a really wonderful play from Gouw, pincering those vills. I would love to hear from his point of view if he was jumping out of his seat when that happened. I mean, holy cow. Beautiful play with the scouts. Gouw is he's in a good spot now. Wheelbarrow coming, 500 food in the bank, is ticking up on gold to be able to click castle, but the Viper is going to click castle at the same moment. Gouw interestingly dives the scouts right in. Oh, baby.
Do you see Gouw dropping a tower, though, on that wood?
Yeah, I do.
You said flipping the script. Gouw's just really hammering that home. Doesn't want to flip the script. He wants to write it for us.
Man.
Now that we've noticed how in Viper was on this, on the Trush, he doesn't have a single military building.
Nope.
These scouts, the only thing to stop them is the TC.
Yeah, the Viper's in some trouble here. There's 2 big problems for the Viper. Of course, he doesn't have any military buildings, and he's not in the castle age yet, so he can't drop a castle. Has plenty of stone for it. It's not uncommon after a tower push to drop down a castle. Usually you like to do it forward, but in this case maybe in a defensive position. So the Viper's got some issues with his eco. On the bright side of things, at least for now, a lot of his economy is not bothered. dogao needs to continue to tower here because his scouts are going to be walled out of any real damage. If dogao keeps towering, the Viper has to spend his stone on towers as well, and maybe we can see dogao taking even bigger of an advantage as the game goes on.
Right. I would like to see dogao. I'm trying to think where he should spend his money. But I believe, yes, he's doing the same thing. He's thinking, I got to get up to castle as well. I would have loved to see some sort of pressure, but the answer just wasn't there. He was doing the exact right things, and just the way Viper's base is set up, there's no other pressure to do at the moment.
Castle Age coming for both guys, and I'll remind people out there watching, first of all, thanks for tuning in. I'll remind you that if you put !casters, you can find your way to Willis's channel and give him some love. I'll also remind you that this set of games was scheduled to be done by now, but of course, in order to not spoil the results too much, we actually don't know how much longer it's going to take. If the Viper were to win here, he would close it out. It is a best of 5. If dogao were to win, we'll see at least another game. So it is not going to be an immediate start, and obviously we are behind schedule. My apologies for that, guys. It seems to be possible to fall behind schedule even with Rex, but we're doing it. dogao's getting down a tower in a nice cheeky spot, making the Viper have to build a few defensive towers of his own. Viper still with enough stone for a castle drop. Where do you think he'll put it, Willis?
Well, he's got no more villagers forward. I think he puts it kind of near that relic in the Oasis to lock down gold and a woodline if he builds it 100% defensive, and I kind of think that's his only choice at the moment. Oddly enough. It's not a great spot, but this game is kind of showing us while you might want to do some great things, you kind of have to do the only thing. Oh, we see a town center instead. No immediate castle drop.
So
where it's going to go.
It's double stable knights from dogao. Maybe not a huge surprise there. It's triple TCs for the Viper, which is a tad bit surprising to me. dogao will get maybe one more vill out of his scout play. Good on you, dogao, for that. And he will leave all of this with a 3-villager advantage. Excuse me. dogao is going to need a little time to either bludgeon down some Korean towers or maybe just circumvent them and get his knights forward. For now, it is both stables creating new knights for dogao. Still 0 military for the Viper, who's going Bodcanero, Bosa, and he's dropping a castle right on the front porch of his main TC.
There we go. There was the expert play. While I was saying, we don't really have many choices, he's thinking, well, I might as well put it forward and stop anything from coming in. Oh, these scouts, if they open up just one hole, that'll make the biggest difference for running in a few knights. And I think the knights will be extremely effective here, with the Viper not having much of anything to say about it. Oh, as I say that, already building a monk. Monastery is up. Monk is 15% on the way there.
Yep, the Viper needs a monk, and he needs it quickly. dogao might be able to knock down that monk with those couple of scouts still inside, but that remains to be seen. dogao has built a couple of cheeky and annoying towers, and he is going to come with knights, but those knights are going to run right into the Viper's castle, and they took a ton of damage already.
Yeah, so that's a shame. That's really is a lot. I was hoping he'd maybe peel off after a few hits, but he just plain simply didn't.
Yeah, this is going to be a weakened group, an attenuated group coming in from dogao, but he does get into the back of the Viper's base. Viper's on his way back with a couple of war wagons, and I think he should be able to deal with the first group pretty easily. Viper's already grabbing a relic. He's on 3 TCs and 46 vills. dogao on the other side of the map, after a really wonderful defense, is trying to push the aggression. He has added a second TC in, and he might add a third one as well. He is adding a third. So after a couple of knights pumped, dogao is going to build TCs.
I think it's probably all just going to be based on that scouting information. Once he was in there, he actually didn't see the Vipers on 3 TCs. He only sees 2 of them, interestingly enough. But I think he saw the play from Viper. Viper's going more eco. He knows he can't just let eco win. So he's making the switch.
dogao's got a TC in the north on wood and gold, which will be nice for him as the game goes on. A TC in the south, mostly just on a wood line. Remember, Dagoa's main gold is still taken away by the Viper. Viper does have +2 in, so he will be able to damage quite nicely from those Korean guard towers, the 11 range. So those units may continue to hold the front, and under those towers soon we are going to see some war wagons from the Viper. So after a wonderful defense from Gouw, I do think the Viper has stabilized pretty nicely here, and I think the Snake is fine. I think he's probably brought this back to equal footing.
I have to agree with you there, and with those war wagons, once they're sitting under the towers, I can't come up with too many options for Gouw at the moment. Mangonels aren't going to work because Korean guard towers are going to range them. Halberdiers or pikemen aren't going to do too well under guard towers either. So I think it's time for the Snake to go do something with these war wagons.
It's time to circle the wagons. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to see where he's going with the wagons, and he's going pretty far east. I wonder if he was thinking Gouw moved somewhere else. But I don't know why he would think that.
Just to let you know, Willis, I'm at 30 minutes and 55 seconds. I think we're pretty...
Okay, cool. I'm within 10 seconds of you.
Perfect. Yeah, again, guys, sorry for any issues in synchronization. We've had some trouble with these Rex early. Probably Ornlu would be happy, or rather be helped to know that we've been having a little trouble with the new beta. Seems like our Rex are not allowing us to launch with 2 people in the room. So we'll deal with that, Ornlu. It won't be any problem. But we will see Ornlu in the next set. For now, we are still hot and heavy into game number 3, the Viper versus Gouw. It's KillerB and Willis. We got to make your name rhyme with KillerB. How about KillerB and Willis C? Does that help?
It works for me.
I'm not exactly a rapper, so that's the best I can do.
That's okay. I will say, now when I was calling out Viper for going so far right with his war wagons, it was for map control because there was a relic pretty far out there that he went and picked up.
Okay.
He was just trying to make sure that it wasn't that he was so much protecting the monk. He was making sure the monk was never even seen by a very large margin.
So we talked earlier about how sometimes you come forward with towers and then you drop a castle right in the middle of those towers. In this game, the Viper's first castle is in his base. I think that's a wise choice. Now that he's got some map control with war wagons, the next castle is coming much closer to Gouw's base. Gouw's got some knights waiting. Right now, it's going to be about 6 knights for Gouw to try to stop this castle. I don't think that's enough with all these towers around, but we're about to see, I guess.
I believe between Viper garrisoning and quick walling, while the knights would be enough to take out those villagers, I think Viper will be able to keep enough of them safe. Let's see how far he goes with it. He's going to batter down those rams first. I think Gouw, you got to let the knights out now.
Yeah, those rams snuck up on me a bit. The Viper losing 4 or 5 villagers already. He will circle his war wagons in and take down Gouw's knights. So the Viper's towers should mostly stay up. 2 villagers left alive, so if he builds a castle, it will be a slow build. But the Viper still controls the front of Gouw's base. Gouw gets probably 1 tower out of this, but lost a lot of knights. And wow, Gouw is ready to throw in the towel already. Yeah, I guess he doesn't have a lot of ability to deny a castle drop on his main gold. So the GG is in, Willis. Was it too early or was it justified?
I'm going to say this one's justified based on the volume of war wagons. I don't think Gouw had an answer for it. Even throwing knights at it, I think the knights slowly don't do too much. Do you have something different to add to that?
I think that's fair. I think it is over. After a really great, Gouw played great in all 3 of these games. He played great. If you put him up against anybody except the Viper, I don't know. It just feels like he's playing an incredibly high-level game today. Pushed the Viper to the brink in one game that was over an hour, one game that was over an hour and 40, and now this game feels like an early GG at 35 minutes. What a...
Hold on, where's the other 2/3 of the game? I'm here. I'm ready for another hour.
This was a really wonderful set. Willis, I'm going to jump out and look at the achievements, but I want to give you a moment to do your thing, man. Tell people your schedule and give them the elevator pitch on why they should become even bigger fans of Willis while I look at the stats.
Even bigger fans of Willis. I like it. Okay, well, the elevator pitch for me. Schedule, I'm in Eastern Standard Time. That's the Eastern United States. I'm working a normal like 9 to 5 job. So if I'm on a weekday, it's usually, let's see, 7 p.m., 1900. That's about 2300 GMT. So going after these Swedish viewers.
Okay.
It's not going to be all that helpful. Not that I don't love you there, but I believe you'll be sleeping. If you want to wake up and hang out, though, I'll gladly have you. Other than that, on weekends, I try to stream a lot. On a day like today, I think I'm going to take a small break after this, but I have a tournament actually later today, so that keeps me busy with the Discord tournament. I try to co-cast anytime a fun tournament like this is going on that I can jump into. And as far as being a bigger fan, it's extremely inclusive. As far as I came from the viewers, and I just wanted to be more and more involved in AoE in the community, and I like to call some people super viewers, and it just was I couldn't do as much as I wanted to without throwing myself into it. So if you have the same attitude, I'll gladly have you around anytime, and that's about what kind of culture we try to build.
All right, man. That's a really well put there by Willis. You guys can check him out. You can see the link on the screen in the chat. I give you a round of applause, my friend.
Thank you.
First Project Belgium came in, and then Nobody with some nice video content, and now Willis with some great casting. We are 30 minutes behind schedule, guys, but I do still think it's smart to play this video that Nobody helped me make